Oh my god. Ah! I can't do this. I honestly can't do this without Peroty. I don't know.
Do what?
Invite people.
Two Titans and a guest host. Bam. Now he's to see the channel.
There you go. Oh, thank you. At least you know what you're doing.
I know a thing or two because I've seen a thing or two.
There
Here he
is.
comes to wreck the day.
Yeah, you just didn't have the right permissions for me, it looked like.
Yep, I had to give you permission,
I have no
which he
idea.
doesn't know how to do.
I
know a
don't-
thing that he doesn't know that makes me special too.
Yeah. Welcome to Two Titans and a Hunter, a Destiny 2 podcast.
A show where we discuss tips, tricks, and tools to help all Guardians succeed and enjoy playing more.
What makes us different? Well, for starters, we're not streamers or YouTubers. We just have a passion for Destiny and are dedicated to keeping Guardians informed and up to date with all the latest Destiny 2 info, news, and opinions.
We encourage your questions and feedback. You can contact us either by email at twotitansandahunter@hotmail.com or on Twitter at twotitans_hunter.
Now, on with the show.
Good morning.
Nah.
My morning time.
What up, Kingsley?
What up?
So I've heard your name before, right? Weren't you like you had a thing, right? And that thing is people listen to it sometimes. I thought, right, or something like that, right?
Yep.
It's a thing, and it's in a place, and it's called something. These things, I know that they have names, but I don't know the names. So, since you're a guy that I used to know, you want to let everybody know who you are, and how we know you, and where you're from, and why you're stalking us.
It's a PODCAST.
All right, look, don't. It's too early to be using things like letters. Okay.
I know, right? I woke up for you guys bright and early. 7:45 my time on a Saturday.
Oh,
good.
God.
7:45. You're West Coast. I forgot about that.
That's not quite West Coast. That's Mountain. West Coast is even an hour earlier.
Utah, isn't it?
Yeah. I live in Utah, but that's
sorry.
time.
I don't know time zones.
No, it's fine. It's not like the first time we've done this. There was another. I don't know if it was our big extravaganza with all three groups, but it was another one where it was at least Guardian Hub, which, by the way, that's the podcast I'm from, and you guys, and it was also a morning one, and I don't mind getting up for things like this, but today I'm feeling great. But that day, I don't know if you remember, I had like a headache, and I think I messaged someone or like a splitting headache, and I had to like mute during some of the conversation.
Yeah.
Almost like I was drinking the night before. I didn't.
Headache that he had to mute respawn. Yeah.
I felt like I was on a bender from the night before, even though I wasn't.
But anyway, no, give an actual plug to your show. I was just asking around earlier.
Yes, I am KingsleyMac, and I am from the Guardian Hub podcast, which, it's a Destiny-based podcast like many of the other ones out there. I just decided to create it back at a time where there were a few less. It's gone through ebbs and flows with Destiny podcasts. These days we have a few more again.
Yeah.
But some were just starting to shut down. And I had been a guest on another Destiny podcast on and off. And I just really wanted to start my own, and found Sin, a great guy who I've played with a lot since D1, and started up the show just like, okay, not expecting much, but I know I can do a podcast because here's the thing, right? I play Destiny all the time, even during Curse of Osiris. So I knew if I could stay through the rough periods, I could do a podcast, because I didn't want to be one of these podcasts that just start up and then, don't work out. And no offense to anyone starting a podcast, it doesn't work out. But for me, I wanted to be committed in my mind before I started it. And sure enough, we have 130 episodes now, so I don't know. Maybe we'll end next week, but so far we've been going strong.
Well, you did talk about ending it a couple of weeks back, doing a Borderlands podcast, didn't you?
Yeah, I always joke about ending it.
So, speaking of which, we had some guy in our chat that was asking, "Hey, if you wanted to start up a podcast, what are some things to consider?" And we were talking about, you got to be dedicated to it, try to be there at the same time every time. You also have to consider how much time it's going to take to edit the work that you've done, if you're going to edit, right? I mean, the research time it takes. There's a lot that goes into a podcast that people don't see. You know, even though Respawn doesn't research, my people do it for me. I'm just a pretty face.
Yeah,
I'm just a
your people do
personality.
it for you. Yeah.
Yeah, it
You
sounds like
have
you're
research.
researching a
I
lot.
got people.
Respawn has people.
But yeah, no.
Peroty and Nitedemon do count here.
Yeah,
Mhm.
let it be known that Nitedemon and Peroty do all the research. Nitedemon does all the editing, and every now and again I'll listen to a twab, but I'm just here to read things, sound pretty, and be entertaining, or be the butt of everybody's joke. Either way, it's fine.
Yeah, I mean, you do put in your research. You do watch a twab from an
Yep.
Astacross or
I
somebody.
watch videos every now and again. Yeah, it's a thing I do. I have very strong opinions when it comes to hunters and how they're being treated.
Yeah,
When-
no.
When you
Yeah.
have three people, it kind of, I mean, yeah, we started off with two, just me and Sin, and then now we have Desraven also. And
Oh, really?
yeah, and
Oh.
so Sin is kind of like, when all three of us are here, he's kind of settled more into like the not talking as much role, and we kind of like to have a joke with him, like
No. Sin's
live
always
update.
done that. Even when we were with you on the
Yeah.
show, he was
I guess
playing
so.
Iron Banner. And I
Yep,
think
yep,
every
during the
now and then
show.
he was like, oh yeah, I'll interject something. I'll have an opinion. Bit like Respawn.
Hey, but when I'm not there, which is few and far in between, and by the way, our latest episode I wasn't able to make, which isn't out yet, 1:30, but it'll be out soon. Anyways, you'll be hearing Sin taking the lead, and it's really interesting. He does an excellent job whenever that happens. So he actually has to talk then.
Speaking of having to talk, do we have the outro this week?
Not yet.
Okay.
I'll look that up.
Because Peroty always does the outro. So
Oh,
in weeks where Peroty's not here, none of us know the outro, or we don't know. Like we don't know our
I
Facebook,
forgot.
Peace
or
out.
our all the stuff that we have, right? Like our Facebook, our Twitter, Twitch, all that stuff.
He
But like,
beats it
yeah,
all.
I know we have a Twitter. It has something to do with the show. There's also a Facebook, and what are they called? I don't know. Where are they at? Who knows? But they're out there.
What will we
so,
do?
Yeah.
How will we end it?
So he's
Yeah.
he's our show closer guy. We can't do it without him, apparently. Literally.
No, I get it. And there's a certain cadence. I assume you guys have too. At least with us, we always end it in a certain way where Sin likes to add in a little line. So when I'm not there and he's the one saying the line, it doesn't make sense for him to, okay, Sin, say the line now. So I think Des will actually kind of start the outro then, and then Sin will say the line.
Yeah. Sounds about right.
Yeah.
The best hub on the net, which, by the way, is our tagline.
Yeah, no, I've heard it.
No,
It's
the
a
best
thing.
raid hub on the net, isn't it?
Yeah, we
Ooh.
won a small, there was only 3 groups. Hopefully there's more next time. But a raid race tournament that Elmer Fudd Games put on. And it kind of came down to a couple different Discord or groups. And it was the Guardian Hub versus Guardian Down versus a guy named, he has a very funny title, Poop Shizzle. But he's a really great guy. He's a good raider. And then some guys with him from the Hoot Dog crew. And I mean, it was no competition against Gator, but we were neck and neck with the other group.
That's only because the Frozen PC crew wasn't there. All right.
Well,
you could
get
have
yourself
joined.
in there next time.
I didn't know it was the thing.
I know. I don't know how much. I mean, we had it blasted all over Twitter, but I think what we need to do is get someone to really go on all the Discords next time around and just.
Yeah, I mean, at the very least,
Let
all the
people-
podcast Discords that you guys are a part of, right? So I mean,
Well, when you were advertising it, Elmer did an advert and put it on the beginning of your show. Next time, if you want, stick it on the beginning of our show. Send us it, and
yeah.
Yes. I
we can reach a
think
few
in a
more
way
people as well.
too. I can't say for sure for him, but I think he was also kind of glad that it was smaller first
Yeah.
time around because he hasn't done a Destiny one yet with rating and everything. He does a lot of other Apex tournaments and things like that. But
I did suggest one to him last night. I said, for the next time, you either have 4 or 5 guardians that are experienced in doing a raid, Sherpa 2 people that have never done the raid
Oh no,
before.
no.
Oh yeah. See, no,
I
he's
like that
backing
idea.
off. He's backing off because he knows what it's like trying to get me through a raid.
we had that idea, but we actually said it should be 3 and 3.
Yeah.
3 experienced
I-
and 3 new.
I think that would be a little bit too much with some of the things like the deep stone quip.
I
mean, I've heard-
That is easy. Well, except for that
You
one
say it's
encounter.
easy, but you haven't taken me through
For
it.
that one, well, it's because I don't like taking you through raids. It has nothing to do with the raid.
I'll take you through.
Yeah,
Is there
well,
something
he'll
I need to
listen to
know?
you. He purposely does everything opposite that I tell him.
No.
As a
Yeah, there you
joke.
go. Everything that Respawn says, I purposely do opposite of. Anyone else, I follow instructions very clear.
That's the issue, huh?
Yeah, no, it
Yeah.
absolutely is, dude. No joke.
Well,
That's why I won't take him through. I'll have somebody else like, you want to go through?
I mean-
Hold on, let me get Fuzz. Fuzz will take you.
Yeah.
You know.
To be honest, that was one of the main reasons why I wanted you on, because I don't want losers on this podcast, I want winners.
Mm.
So,
Ooh.
we
So you
can't
did-
have Gator on here because he's a loser.
Ooh.
And we fired Nosey from last week, so
Oh, speaking
Fired.
of Nosey, right? So a little update from Nosey. You know how I said that I got my catalyst? It took me 3 runs to get my catalyst for the new exotic.
yeah.
He just updated me. 31 attempts so far, and he still doesn't have catalyst.
Wow. It took me a while. I think for me, I was hearing about all these people getting on the first, second, third run. It took
Yep.
me probably like 8 runs, and then I got it. I don't know exactly.
It took
I-
you a while after 8. You hear that, Nosey? It took him a while at 8.
It took me 5, Nosey.
But
I
also,
mean, it's
you
all right.
guys,
Hey,
yeah.
I'm glad to see somebody suffering because everybody's making fun of me for not having the Vex. So I'm glad somebody's not getting something. It's
Well,
not
that's
just
what I was going to mention. Yeah, I was listening last week too, and I love Vex Mythoclast. Sorry, you don't have it. Well,
I'm
what's okay?
putting
I
in
know
the effort.
people.
I'm just not getting rewarded for it.
Yeah, I know. And remember, it only goes up once per week. They admitted the bug there. And how much it
Oh.
goes up, my guess is 1%
Probably.
each week. Yeah,
Yeah.
I know.
Probably,
So
yeah.
it might as well not even go up. But
No,
you
no, no.
still have the
I
chance.
need it to go up, even if it is just 1%.
Yeah, you still have the
I
chance
need it
3
to
per
go up.
week. It just won't go up more chance until the next week, not each character run. But I know people like Helios. I don't know if that name rings a bell, and
Yeah.
Yep.
he's in our group, and he's from Australia, and he's run it. Well, Mohafo was up here too, and he finally got it. But those guys, they've been running all the time, and they're more like at 50 runs, and they still haven't gotten it. Well, Mohafo has now.
50?
Yep.
Oh, that does not give me. Well, hold on. 50
haven't
runs
you-
sounds a little high. Can you even have officially had 50 runs thus far?
Yeah, I think so. If you done it 3 times per week since it's come out.
Oh god, now I'm sad face.
Yeah, but have you not heard the stories of 1K or Deep Stone people taking 100 runs to get it? Those weapons?
No, it took me 39 and 40 something respectively to get those. But 50 or 100? Holy crap.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
I think most people can agree have the cap like around 50. Like once you get there, just boom, you get it.
I'm just
That may
tired
be
of
high for some, but
RNG raid drops, dude. That bugs
I
the
like-
hell out of me.
I like
I don't
the
know.
fact. No, I like the old D1 style of you may have 2 years wait to kind of get the Galahorn, or you may get it on this next drop. I like that.
No!
'Cause
I
it
do
keeps
not like
people
that.
keeps
No!
people playing and wanting to get said
no,
weapon.
No, because no.
Yes.
No. Because
Okay.
I did the raid every week in D1, right?
Yeah.
And you know when I got the Galahorn? Is when
Yeah.
Xur sold it again a week before it got nerfed.
Okay. Well, you
I
got
tried
it.
for that and then it got immediately nerfed.
Right.
I
No
hear
right.
we have nothing to complain about compared to games like World of Warcraft. They have crazy stuff like you have to be here 1 day a month for 10 hours straight, and you have a 0.5% chance of getting the thing. But it doesn't mean ours is still right.
No.
Yeah, I've thought about this too. In
World of
some
Warcraft
ways,
is also a very different style of game.
yeah, I'm just saying as far as RNG goes, we aren't the worst. I do know that. But I also sometimes selfishly don't want people to get certain weapons if they're the type of person that'll stop raiding once they get that weapon.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. The exotic should
Yeah.
have a cap, right?
It should. I agree on that.
What keeps you playing is the random rolls for all the legendary. You know what I'm saying?
You probably would have gotten all of them by then. I've got.
I mean, I
Yeah.
do have all of them already, except for
Plus,
the
you can
scout
buy
rifle.
them now too, right? Well,
What?
kind of the lottery thing at the end, but
Yeah, but if you took the lottery thing out, and just had people random roll for the legendaries and had a cap for the exotics, I think that would balance out.
yeah.
Yeah.
Or we were talking about this the other night too. Once you start to raid a lot, you get full on the spoils of conquest thing. Like I've had all the weapons for a long time and I have nothing to spend them on, and they're just sitting maxed out, and plus accumulating in my postmaster. Well, wouldn't it be cool and make it super expensive, like at least 50 or so of them, but you could buy other things like maybe a golf ball or something else, and that'd
Yeah.
get people to raid also.
Or that could also be the cap too, right? You know how instead of it being 250, raise the cap and you can have like the current raid, right? How everybody's well, not everybody. I very specifically am missing the Vex, but like instead of paying 250 for an older exotic raid, you pay 500 or 750 for the current season's exotic. You make it
Or
really,
you could
really,
use
really
those
high.
spoils to have a
Yeah.
reroll on a slot machine to see if you can get a Vex out of that final chest.
Something,
Two RNGs at once. See if
Yeah.
it drops RNG, and then see if the slot machine drops RNG.
I'm not
Yeah,
a fan
if
of
you've
double
got plenty of
RNG.
spoils,
What?
like Respawn probably has, maybe like 250 or 500 for another roll, and you only get one roll per week per character, so that gives you like 6 chances to get it in the character.
Yeah, I mean, at some point, if you're going to have like a cap, it's probably better just having it like, okay, you run the raid 50 times versus like, I was thinking too, like, well, maybe 1,000 spoils will get you the weapon, but then what's the difference between that or just having a cap of how many times you run it? So
Yeah.
either it has to be pure RNG somewhere or a cap somewhere.
I do not like pure RNG. I don't. I hate it. Pure RNG has never worked for me.
And then so many people start speculating too, which I hate. Like they think they know, like, oh, it's got to be the players that don't raid for a lot, and then they come back and then they get it. I'm like, no, trust me, I raid a lot. If you look at my raid report, I have like over 400 total in the game of D2, and
Yeah.
I've had some raids where I get things on run 2, and I've had other raids where I get it. Now my energy has never been too bad. My worst case scenario is like run 20 or so, or 30 for it was 1K. But then that kind of like stops the theory of like, oh, how much you raid is dependent on how the drop happens.
Well, you say that, but if you listen to last week's show, then you'll know that I had a buddy that used to be in our clan and stopped playing for like 2 years until this season.
Mhm.
And this season, he's come back and he's really into it, and he's playing a lot of PvP. And I was like, hey, we need a body for the raid. You want to do it? He goes, I don't know how to do raids. I'm like, it's fine. We'll walk you through it. So we walked him through his main Titan character, right? Shut up. And he didn't get a drop. And the following week, I needed another body. I'm like, hey, we need a body. You feel like doing the raid again? He goes, yeah, I'll do it. So he played on his Warlock, which was like 1270. And he was getting one shot by like red bars. I mean, we were constantly reviving his ass, right? But we were there doing the raid. And at the end of it, his second raid attempt after not playing Destiny for 2 years on a character he didn't even help do the raid with, he gets the Vex.
I know. I hear those stories a lot. I think it's just because people get, but I also got it on my second attempt and I raid all the time. So
yeah, but see that
no one
that's
talks
fine.
about that.
Like,
yeah, that's why no one thinks about that one.
uh,
Because I'll still raid after I get it. I would almost. I don't want people like I want people to get the weapon almost before me. I don't want to wait till like run 10 or 20 necessarily. I want to get it if it's a good weapon fairly quick, but I would be perfectly fine if it took me to run 20, 30, whatever, knowing that I raid a lot, I'll eventually get it. And then I get it on both DSC and VOG, the two recent ones. I got it on my second round. I'm like, oh, well, sorry guys, but I'm still going to raid. Don't worry.
yeah, but see, again, like you said, 20 or 30. I'm over 30 now. No, I'm not. I'm like 22. But I mean, it's like when you're up there, you're saying it like, oh, I'll get it eventually, but that eventually is the problem. Eventually, it's starting to act like a really long ass time.
It is, yeah, and then
and especially when it's a weapon that's very predominantly used in PvP. Yeah, with a 0.77 second time to kill. Yeah, no, you need to make it more available than that, Bungie.
I'm even using it. I've hopped in trials a little bit, even though I really don't like PvP. And yeah, I mean, I'll use it too. It is good. I really like it though as solo PvE stuff. Like it just mows, like with all the particle deconstruction and it's has a longer range. It's kind of like Pulse Scout range, but fires like an auto, yet hits like a truck, like a linear fusion. It's like everything in one. And so if you're doing solo PvE content, it just is amazing.
Yeah. I wonder what that feeling is like.
Amazing.
Damn it. But speaking of PvP, how do you like the new changes?
Well, again, I'm probably not
Osiris.
the best. I'll tell you still, because I obviously did hop in it. I've never been much of a PvP player. I don't play Trials ever until I did hop in with all these changes because everyone was. So I was part of that higher population that did. And so I don't really have tons to base it off from before. The match is, I'll start with like the sweatiness of the matches the last few weeks. For me, it seemed about the same as months ago, the few times I popped in. Now, I'm not probably the best person to ask because I didn't do enough matches to really notice one way or the other. But
what day did you play on? Because this past week
I did all 3 weeks at least once. And then this last week, I actually probably hopped in the most, funny enough.
Well, what day? Because they changed it now so that
I
all
know.
the sweaties are in the pool until Sunday. So yeah.
Even after I did hop in after Sunday, and we were still. I admittedly I didn't hop with a crew too much. I did a lot of solo also, but even when I'm with a crew, unless I get people that are really good, like usually like when I say a crew, it's like people that are like, whatever, like a little better than me, but no one's super great. But we would maybe win 20% of our matches. So even after the Sunday thing.
Damn.
Yep. Now there's people I could hit up in my Discord that are PvP gods that have gone flawless to trials even before the changes, and now with the new changes, they're going every weekend. So I could hit them up. They could backpack me at some point, but I'm in no rush. I'll get there eventually to the lighthouse. So it's just not a priority to me. Like the weapons is the biggest thing that brings me in. I've already gotten some good rolls on Reed's Regret as a PvE player. That's one of the main things you want. And I'm kind of like, okay, I got that real quick too. So it's the same thing. Like I'm like the person who doesn't raid much. I got the good Reed's Regret. I'm like, what's my reason to go in now to trials? Not too much, since I don't like PvP.
I mean, do you have the God Roll pulse rifle? That's what I'm still waiting on.
Actually, well, funny enough, that was the last time I hopped into trials. I even remember one time Nosey was inspecting me. He's like, "You have Messenger. You never play trials." And it was like the one time I hopped in, and I got a pretty good roll on that too. I don't know if it was the God roll, but it was good enough. And I don't use that much. There's like one place in Deepstone Crypt on the Atrax encounter I'll use the Messenger. I should use it more.
I don't use it in PvE, but it's really good in PvP.
Oh, I know.
That's
It's
where
better.
I use
It's
it.
more of a PvP weapon, yeah.
Yeah, I got a decent roll. I got the Outlaw Desperado, which is a really, really good roll, but like the God roll is rapid hit Desperado, so it's like,
Yeah, the one I have.
Yeah, I don't think did I get the Desperado? No, my roll's just okay. It's Killing Wind Headseeker.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Good enough. And then I'm gonna load up
Dim
here, see what I
right?
got on the Reed's Regret. I think it was like a triple tap Vorpal or something. I know eventually you want the firing line, but it's bugged right now, as I'm sure you're all aware. So it's not as good right now, the firing line one.
What? It's bugged? In what way? Oh.
Let's see here. Reed's Regret. Triple tap Vorpal, yep. So pretty good for PvE. Although that one, I don't know if it's much better than my current. Is
that the God roll? Hold on, I'm trying to think.
No,
Vorpal definitely you need, but what would be better than triple tap in PvE?
I don't know. That's what I was hearing.
I think that's the God roll. Hold on, let me check.
And then I have a threaded needle I use in the raids with clown cartridge and Vorpal. And then, of course, I have, the 1K and everything else like that. Have you guys heard that Divinity is back as part of the loadouts now? It actually stacks again with particle deconstruction. Yeah,
Yeah,
we used
used
it
that in
last
the last
night.
couple raids.
Yeah, and it was pretty nice. It's harder to do the Divinity setup in Vault of Glass because, talk about RNG. There's also RNG if there's only one Divinity person, if you're coming out of the portal or not, if you got pulled in. So, VOG's always a little sloppy getting the setup at the end of like who's there ahead of time and who's doing what buffs and debuffs. But even with that into consideration, we did tell we were melting a little quicker.
Yeah. No, we so first of all, you do have one of the god rolls. It's either that or clown cartridge Vorpal. So yeah. You've got one of the god rolls. But that aside, I ended up for my first 2 runs this week with like a speed run team, right? Where they were doing that I've never even heard of. For example, the very first part of the raid where you're opening the gate.
Mhm.
This guy did some after the gates were open, we immediately teleported into the next area, skipping both chests, already in the next area, already starting the fight. I'm like, what?
Oh,
How
nice.
did you
Try
do
some
that?
out of band cheese stuff or something.
Yeah, no, dude. And it's like they did that with like almost every encounter. That just had a way of skipping tons of time, right? So I had full clears from beginning to end, 22 minutes. I'm like, you guys are
Whoa.
monsters.
Yeah, nice.
But yeah, and then they were using the Divinity strat, which is the first time that I had seen it. I was like, what are y'all doing? He goes, oh no, it stacks again. I'm like, what? So yeah, it's definitely a thing. So if you don't have a 1K, like some of the guys that we've been running through lately, if you have Divinity, great. Apparently it's a thing to use again. So huzzah.
Well, yeah, and this is really intriguing to me, and again, happy for me because I love to raid. But did Bungie plan this? Because it seems like they had to have, because 1K is very hot again, and there's still a lot of people that don't have it, so people are getting interested in running Last Wish again. And Divinity wasn't stacking, and all of a sudden it's stacking again with particle deconstruction. So now people are interested in Garden again if they don't have Divinity. So it's like all the raids pretty much, a little bit less on the Deep Stone, but everyone's interested in running these older raids again now.
Indeed. I mean, it absolutely could be something that panned out. Me giving Destiny any kind of,
You're like,
me thinking that they can plan anything is a bit of a stretch, is what I'm trying to get at. But it could be, I guess. They've got new people there, so maybe they're using their heads. I don't know.
the thing I'm worried about though too is this is such a long season, and we have amazing buffs, more than I can remember at any time in the recent history, except for when we had the super crazy buffs in the past. But remember
Are
they
you
always talk
talking
about
the grenade, the void grenade that stacks with everything? What
well,
was
I was
that
talking
season?
more like back when Forsaken first came out, and during the what was that thing where we would go on the bridge and we'd keep getting our supers back over and over and over.
Reckoning.
Reckoning.
Yeah.
I remember when supers were like overpowered and like, we got to tone this back. Well, I'm just worried now that, they always talk about power creep and stuff. How come they have allowed us to get so powerful with weapons this season? And we are really going to be hurting next season when particle
Savathun's
deconstruction.
going to take us down about 20
right?
pegs.
Especially with this being a longer season, we're going to get so used to it, and then we're going to be like all crying when we feel weak again.
I mean, there's going to be an obvious knockdown, a bit like we had with Gaul with Destiny 2. And the way that they've built like the Witch Queen and Lightfall and then the final shape, I think those are going to be the stepping stones each season or each major expansion, a bit like we had with Destiny 2, where they've got to take us down a couple of pegs. I mean, we're going to be facing off against Hive Guardian versions, you know what I mean, against the light, basically.
32 runs. Sorry. Nosey's keeping me up to date with how many runs it's taken him to get his catalyst.
But you say it's a long season. They've sneakily planned this, that we're going to have like 3 months of a normal season, and then we're going to get this expansion, this 30-year Bungie expansion, that is hopefully going to keep us ticking over for at least a month, 2 months, to then get to Christmas. And then we've got like a little mini event with the Dawning and the Moments of Triumph, sorry.
Well, solstice is around that time, ain't it?
No, so we've had Solstice with
No,
Moments of
Christmas
Triumph,
one. What's the Christmas one called?
The Dawning.
Oh
That's
yeah.
what I just said. So I think where they've put this Bungie 30th anniversary thing in the middle, or yeah, after 3 months we're going to get this. It kind of it is like an extra bit of a season, so it's like a season 13.5 tacked on, really.
Oh yeah, I agree, and I kind of use that tagline 0.5 also. I think November could be our worst month if you look at everything, unless something's coming in November that we're not aware of. Now, when do you
Well,
think have they?
He was
Okay,
like, "Well, let me
yeah,
tell you
tell us what
something."
you're thinking, and maybe it's related. Maybe
Well,
it's related, but when do you think the Halloween event's going to start? Because they haven't really told
I
us,
can
have they?
tell you when the Halloween event's going to start.
All right.
Based on next week's Eververse. So next week is week. Where
I
are
was
we?
going to look into that. I know that kind of answers the question. I should have looked into that.
So we're on week 7 next week, which is the 5th of October. But the week after, which is the 12th of October, there's a lot of Halloween stuff that's shown up in the Eververse. So we've
That should be it.
there's a
Yeah.
classified item in the API, but then the stuff that we've had previous is now showing up. So we've got the Ghastly Durance emote. That's the one with all I think the chains. Then we have the Magnificent Dance. We've got the Ghost Shell that looks like a little bat. There's one of the ships that we've had, and Omnigul Mask is going to be one of the things that you can purchase in the Eververse store on the 12th of October. So that's like 2 weeks' time now. So yeah, that's when it's going to kick off. So next week in Destiny, or this week at Bungie is probably going to be all about the Halloween stuff coming with Festival of the
Yeah,
Lost.
and we have one more week of the seasonal story as we know it so far, right? Because it
Yeah.
seems like it's 7 weeks instead of 6. I was always intrigued on like why it's 7 because it seems like it's an odd rotation on.
Have you
all
not
the
heard
things.
of Bungie?
Well, yeah, I just
Seven's
thought
kind of
about
their
that right now.
thing.
But it looks like Festival of the Lost is going to be for 1, 2, 3 weeks, and that will take us up to the beginning of November, the 2nd of November. So we
All
should.
right.
We've
And
got
then
3 weeks of that.
do we have something that you know about in November? Or is
And then it doesn't look like there's going to be anything in November as yet. It's just
that's what I'm worried about. Is mostly November because December is when the new stuff drops, and
Yeah.
then we're gonna have moments of triumphs and other things. So like, and then we only have. Well, I guess we do have 3 months again because it's the end of February. I was thinking like, why was I thinking the 1st of February? I'm like, we can easily hold 2 months, December and January, but then I guess we do have most of February also.
Well, I mean, if we look at it at the moment with the way that we've got the calendar, so week 6 we're currently in is an Iron Banner. So then we'll have another 3 weeks of. Next week will be a Trials. The week after will be a Trials, and the following week, and the last week of the Halloween event should hopefully be another Iron Banner. So that'll be at the end of October. And then we'll have trials again for 3 weeks, and then the final week of November, the 23rd, will probably be another Iron Banner just before the 30th anniversary stuff kind of kicks in.
But why are we so worried about November? I mean, it's literally 1 month. I mean, you expect them to have something new every single month?
No,
I mean,
no, and I'm not. And worried isn't the best definition to use, but I'm just
Okay.
like thinking, and it's not a super worrisome thing for me because I'm used to these downtimes, right? I mean, again,
Right.
Curse of Osiris, but I'm just saying like when's going to be the worst times of the season is another way to phrase it. Like nothing
Gotcha.
really is going on, you know.
Yeah, if you wanted to play another game, this would be the month to do it, I guess.
Unless something's coming out that we're not aware of. And along with all this, I do hope that they have some other story content up their sleeve, even if it's like way more towards January, February. This can't be right, all of it, and then we're just sitting and then yeah, we have 30th anniversary stuff, but then like no other story all the way till Witch Queen.
Well, on the calendar, it says that in October, November, it's Festival of the Lost event and Season of the Lost updates with Grandmaster Nightfalls, which we know are going to go live next week. And then we're going to get Astral Alignment and Shattered Realm difficulty options. So there's going to be heightened options for content that we've already done, and then, like we said, the Bungie 30th anniversary event kicks off in December, and the Dawning and Moments of Triumph.
Yeah.
To tie us over. So, yeah, I mean, there is going to be stuff, but whether it's going to be stuff that entertains everybody is another question.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I got a question for you two. Right. So people have been coming up to me asking, they
What,
didn't
in
know
the
what the
street,
Gallahorn
randomly?
was. Right.
On the
I
street.
mean, people that I play with.
Respawn on the street.
So they're talking about the Gallahorn because they didn't know what the Gallahorn was, and I told them what the Gallahorn is, and this and that and the other, or what it was once upon a time, not is.
Did you tell
I don't
them
know what it is?
in the way that Respawn would tell them?
Probably.
Okay.
And so they're like, oh, so this DLC, it's pay to win because you get this gun, not a skin, you get a gun if you buy this particular DLC pack. And I was like, well, pay to win might be a strong word, right? Because the original Gallahorn was broken, and then they nerfed it so that it was useless. And now they're saying they're bringing it back, but they're bringing it back in the word that was equivalent to balanced, right? They're bringing it back balanced, which to me means nerfed again. So I think the Gallahorn is just going to be there for nostalgia reasons. It's probably not going to be any more viable than the other ones we currently have already. What do you guys think about that? Is it just
same.
me?
I so don't care about Gallahorn anymore.
Yeah.
You don't
I
care
mean-
about Gallahorn until you care about Gallahorn.
Maybe I'll eat my words, but I don't know. And I still go back and play D1 raids every 3 to 6 months or so. And yeah, I'll use Gallahorn in a few encounters, but I'm enjoying linear fusion rifles more than Gallahorn. Well, Gallahorn's fun that it tracks, but
Yeah, but we have other things that track now too, right? So I mean,
I know it's
as
just
far as straight DPS, the freaking the nightmare dropping void bombs on your head rocket launcher is going to be the most DPS. You know what I mean? So how's the Gallahorn going to compete with that?
yeah. Again, we have such a power creep right now. Is Gallahorn really going to be better than 1K with particle deconstruction or some other linear fusion rifle? I doubt it.
I don't think so.
If it is, then that's like the most insane thing ever in the history of, which I guess they may want to do to kind of do that cheesy
It does
thing
say on the
again.
calendar that it's going to be Gallahorn Exotic Quest, so I think this is going to be open to everyone. So it's not going to be a pay-to-win thing.
I was under the impression you had to get the DLC to do it. So
I think you have to buy the DLC to do the new dungeons and other activities that are included with the 30th anniversary. But the 30th
well, they
anniversary
said the
is going to
30th
turn up.
anniversary is how you get the Gallahorn. If you don't buy the 30th anniversary, you don't get the Gallahorn. They very
Even if
specifically
we have to pay
said
for it,
comes
what's
with
the
it.
big deal? There's always when D2 first came out, you had to pay for it to get the weapons, and there was plenty of exotic weapons.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
No,
why
I
is
mean
this
that's
considered
fair,
pay
but
to
like,
win?
well, because people are thinking that if it comes back pre-nerf Gallahorn, it's going to be so incredibly good, which it would be if it was pre-nerf, right? But if it's coming
Then
back in
pay
this,
for the game. How many people do you know that actually do free to play? I thought it was more just, and I know there's a lot you can do, but I thought it was just more a gateway
the guy that got
drug.
the Vex is free to play.
Okay, but does he really play? Did he hop out afterwards and never play again? I just feel like anyone who actually plays the game is going to pay for it.
Yeah, I mean anybody that actually plays, yeah, but like a lot of these people that can't pay, you know what I mean? Because you got to keep in mind we're adults, and if we want it, we buy it.
Yeah. And if
But
you
a
can't
large
afford
part
it,
of the community is kids,
Mm-hmm.
and kids just, some of the parents might just say no, They're like, no, you've already had, X money spent on video games. You're not going to get this, right? So you have to keep that in mind too. It's not just adults that can decide whether or not to pay for it. Some kids might only have the option for free to play,
Well, again, I don't think it's going to be one of these things where, and even if it is really, really good for some reason, and then you're going to have the jokes, must have Gallahorn to join a raid group, but that's not going to be like any of the groups that I play with. Like,
No, same.
we know that the linear fusions will still be good enough. So if we're running with someone who doesn't pay for Gallahorn, let's say it ends up being that way, we're going to be perfectly fine letting them in the group. They don't need to feel bad that they need to pay to win for Gallahorn.
I'm gonna let them in the group, but I'm also
thing
gonna make
is-
them feel bad.
The thing is, even if it does come with the 30th anniversary package, it's only going to be a limited time. The same with the No Time to Explain, where you got that with Beyond Light. It was then available in.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Was it back in the World Loot Pool, or it was then obtainable by everybody else? So it's only going to be a limited time that it's available for people that purchase it ahead of time. And it does say on the pack that you get Galahorn Exotic Rocket Launcher, Catalyst, and Ornament. So there's a Catalyst along with it. So it's interesting.
Well,
Oh, maybe the catalyst will make it pre-nerf.
Yeah.
did you notice how I feel like they're setting up in the story in one of the what's the seasonal 6-man activity called? The not the shadow.
Expunged.
No, that was
Nearly got you.
Yeah, I know. Now you really got me confused. Astral alignment. Anyways, they had a line in there this last week talking about. I think it was an astral alignment. It could have been somewhere else, but she was like, only the 9 may know. And I feel like, oh, this is more setup for like Zur and the 9, because isn't he going to be part of the dungeon coming up? Or am I
Yes.
or am I reading too much into this?
Hold
It's
on,
probably
is
not
there
going to be
part of
related.
the dungeon? I missed that memo.
You remember when
Yeah.
we went over the reveal for it in the
No.
picture for the dungeon? No, I know you don't. In the back of the picture in the dungeon, there's Zur, or a figure that looks like Zur.
Oh, yeah, but we don't know that, sir. We don't know if he's actually gonna have a place in the dungeon. He might just be, the guy at the end that gives you the loot.
Zur?
I'm just here randomly giving you loot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it could be Zur. A bit like Saint 14 is at the end of the trials, and then when you go back to the tower, he's there.
Yeah.
So it could be Zur. It could be in two places, one person.
And
Kind
we
of like
also had a
Houndish
line.
and you.
And then we also had a line. I mean, we're all kind of expecting that, the curse in the Dreaming City could be ended with everything that's going on, but Bungie seems to be officially setting that up too, because there was a line, I think, also in the Astro Alignment or something saying like, this is the only way we got to keep doing this so we can have a chance of ending the curse. I remember hearing a line like that this week. So, seems like things are lining up.
Which curse are we talking about here?
The Dreaming City curse, like the weekly with
that thing.
the blights taking it over and everything like that.
Honestly, forgot I was cursed. I mean, that whole 13 weeks, I thought at the end of that
The
13-week
Sabbathine
cycle,
stuff.
we solved it. That's the last I heard about it.
I didn't notice until I read a Tassie article that I guess the Sabbathine crystal is changing slightly each week. Maybe there's little bit of clay on the ground.
I mean, okay. I was going to say it's obvious, right? But let me back up a little bit. It's obvious to me because we saw how she was when she went in, no wings. And then we've seen the trailer for next season where she has wings. And she's in a cocoon like a butterfly or a moth, right? So, yeah, I mean, I noticed it was changing, because I thought it was supposed to. Because she goes in without wings, she comes out with wings.
I'm going to do a respawn and say I haven't noticed anything. I just go up, talk to it, and then walk away. I haven't paid any attention. Sometimes I jump on her head.
All right. We have a rapport.
It's fun to jump on her head, yeah. And then I'll listen and maybe, are you done talking yet? And then I'll leave.
Yeah, that's what I do. It's now time to play Iron Banner. I'm off. Bye.
How do you like Iron Banner?
I love
changes.
Iron Banner.
The 150
I always
change.
love Iron Banner. I don't care.
So you probably like it. Yeah.
It goes longer. Iron Banner. It's lovely.
You can't deter him. He's a fanatic.
I don't love the length of it now, and
no, actually, to be honest, I think the length of it, where they've changed it, it's a bit too long for some of the teams that are being stomped, but they're out of the realm of not being mercied. So when you're on the losing side and you're like about 45 points, and you're like, hang on, these guys are on 112. Why am I not being mercied? Oh yeah, because we've probably gone past the threshold. This doesn't seem to be fair. Oh, okay, I'm just going to get my KD up. But
yeah, I agree.
I see your point. I think the old way that they did it was better because the mercy came in quicker for those teams that didn't want to kind of play on and just be mercied over and over.
It's not even just that for me, though. Like, I've had several games where we were neck and neck the whole time, but we were also neck and neck at 125. And
Yeah.
way before that, I'm like, well, I don't want to go to 150. I just want it to be over,
Yeah.
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 And I'm getting, they've shortened a lot of things. They shortened Gambit. They shortened Trials. So I'm kind of like, oh, and then they extend Iron Banner. So that's just kind of what my feeling was like. Why are they making it longer?
But if you look at it, I mean, because I've been recording the footage for the YouTube version of this, my matches aren't any longer than what they used to be. I don't think. I mean, they're about 7 to 9 minutes long, depending on how well we're doing or how bad we're doing. So they're around an average match that we normally play or is recorded.
Okay.
I
I
haven't
feel
played
like
any
mine are longer,
week.
but
Yeah. They feel longer, but maybe that's because they're now moving towards being a bit more like Control, where Control is 150, isn't it?
yeah, sure.
I think. Now you've got me all confused.
It's light level enabled control, pretty much.
Yeah. Which I forgot
Yeah.
to tell people last week. I forgot. I knew every week I forget to tell people things, and I forgot to tell them that it was light level enabled. Forgot to tell them about the powerful bounties that you can get. Forgot that maybe there's a quest that they're still doing because I've already completed it. So I apologise. I forgot that.
How can you sleep with yourself, sir?
Well, I've now written a post-it
He
note
doesn't. He sleeps with his
next
wife.
to the desk to say, remind people next time Iron Banner comes up that these are the things I need to tell people.
Mm-hmm. When are we going to raid sometime, Nitedemon? Because I've raided with the other two, but not you yet.
Yeah.
When are you awake?
Some
I know the time differences. Yeah.
I thought with crossplay it would get easier to play with people. Like Gator was always going on about playing Iron Banner, but every time I've seen Gator, he's been in a 6-stack playing Iron Banner with other people, and I'm like, that's all right. I'll just stick in my solo pool. I'll be happy.
It is easier to play. That's why he's always in the 6-stack now. It's just not easier to play with you.
Oh, he was always in a 6-stack before too. He is. Okay, crossplay. It's easier, but it's also harder and more frustrating. The whole what voice chat people are going to use and figuring things out. And I knew this was going to be an issue. I knew. And Discord, you also like there'd be a lot of pushback against Discord, and there is, and good because mostly the PlayStation people, they don't have an option for doing Discord and in-game audio at the same time. They have to do like 2 sets of headphones, or one in one ear and one in the other. There's just no good option, and so
Well, somebody in our
rightly
chat was
so,
saying
then
that
they don't want to do that, and so
there's an app you can use on the Xbox and PlayStation that will
not on
connect to
PlayStation. It's
Discord.
only on Xbox.
Is it?
So I have a document, by the way, and if you want to add that in your show notes for this week,
I will. Yeah.
I've been compiling different options, and for PlayStation, for Xbox, it's pretty easy. You can use that app. It's unofficial, but it does work with Discord. For PC, it's super easy. Anything works. So like when I play with a group that's mostly PlayStation, I'll just be like, okay, whatever. You set up your PlayStation party chat, but because I have a PlayStation also, I'll do remote play from my PC into my PlayStation, and I'll get the audio chat through there, but still play on my PC. And my PC just mixes it all together.
Xbox has an app where
and that too. Yeah.
Xbox Party. Can you do that with PlayStation?
Not exactly. It's not. Well, it's an app, yes, but it doesn't like do it as smoothly as the Xbox One, but it works perfectly fine and it sounds good. So basically, the answer is yes. PC has it the easiest. You can do whatever. Xbox has it pretty good, but PlayStation, if you only have PlayStation, has it the worst until Discord gets released on PlayStation early next year, which it will be, and then that'll be good. But the best option for now is to like mix 2 audio sources. Either get one of those more expensive Bluetooth headset things where like it has a line input you can plug into your controller for game audio, and then it can mix in Bluetooth at the same time from your phone doing Discord. Or you can also get like a little, those old 2-headed jacks from like we used to use in the 80s and 90s.
Yeah.
And one plug into your controller and then the other one plug into your phone, and then mix the audio that way into your headset.
Old school.
Yeah. So it's kind of making it so like I just wanted it to be where, okay, we just have people do requests, and then it's just easy. But now we always have to be like, okay, which audio? Because I really do play with a lot of different groups: PC, PlayStation, Xbox. And like, okay,
Yeah.
which audio are we gonna do? Oh, two of us don't have that option. Well, can you consider the other option? But then we have to do this. It's always like a big deal each time of like which audio thing we're gonna do.
Yes, I think that's the biggest thing that Bungie need to kind of tackle. Maybe it was one of the things they needed to tackle first. I know they were excited to get crossplay out there, and it's a good thing because like with Trials, it's really boosted the polls of players playing together. But then when it comes to like the communication, you can opt into the game chat that doesn't seem to want to work as well, and sometimes I think for Xbox it's still not working. I've opted into several chats where somebody said, "Oh, I'm chatting in Trials and I want to talk to them, but nothing's working my end and I can't hear them." So I'm
Oh
like,
yeah, I forget about that too. Have you tried? Supposedly, the word on the street is you have to reset it each and every single time you come back.
in the
Have you tried
match,
that?
every time I
Reset
come
what?
into the match.
Every time you come back? What?
No, sorry. If you want to use the in-game chat, the
Yeah.
Destiny one,
Yeah.
you have to. People were saying like if it doesn't work, you go to reset game audio settings in the game, and then people were saying, "Well, that worked," but then it still
Oh,
didn't work the next
I'm
time.
not
I hear
doing
you have to
that
do
in
that.
the middle of a Trials match.
No,
to be honest.
sorry, not every match, but every time you start a new group up,
Yeah,
you
but
have to reset it each time.
it's easy. I mean, it's still quite slow to pull out your ghost and then go to the voice chat. But if I then have to keep going in and resetting it, by the time that happens, the other team's going to have killed me.
Sorry,
Yeah.
yeah, not within a. Just when you're doing a new group up, like with once you have it going, it'll stay that way once
Yeah.
everyone's in the group. Yeah.
But yeah,
I
I'm
don't know.
talking
It's
first rounds in Trials. You get
yeah,
killed
no,
by the
that's
time you
true.
set that up.
Yeah, if you're just joining.
Yeah.
I get what you're saying. It's crazy. I think really just we need to get Discord official on Xbox. We need to get Discord official on PlayStation quickly, and then things will be better.
Definitely.
So, this week in Destiny, an
No.
hour and a half into the show.
This week at Destiny.
Next week in Destiny, you mean?
That's what I said. What'd you hear?
Nothing.
Okay.
I heard
We've
last
got
week at Destiny.
Yeah. Just don't argue with him. Yeah, so welcome to the show. We've been nattering for a good, I don't know, 40 minutes. Kingsley's
Right.
here, filling in for Peroty. Respawn's here as ever, and I'm still here. So
As
welcome.
ever.
This is
That
the
one
official
time I
welcome.
wasn't here is gonna always be a blimp. Well, I was here. I just couldn't talk.
Because we might as well keep all that, that talking at
Yeah.
the beginning. People can listen to us talking. I'll put a
Talk, talk,
timestamp
yeah.
in to kind of avoid
Yeah.
it if you don't want to listen to us talking. It is all Destiny related, so if you didn't listen, you've missed out. But if you do, then you haven't. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, for once, our little banter was completely Destiny related, except for the very, very beginning where we were talking about cats.
Yeah, but that's not going to make it in.
Aw.
So next week in Destiny, Grandmaster Nightfalls begin, and you can take on Fickrel in the Hollowed Lair Nightfall and earn bonus
Fickrel.
Nightfall rewards. And Shax would like to have you throw more grenades when Mayhem returns to the Crucible. Now this is going to be interesting with Mayhem next week, because has anybody thought about taking that new weapon into Mayhem, and rather than just burning your super, just when your super comes up, it's Aegis, isn't it? Switch it so that it then does more damage to people. That's going to be interesting to use in Mayhem.
I mean, I've already seen some of the YouTubers use it in Crucible, and it just.
Yeah,
I don't
but you
even
imagine
know
just
how long it takes to kill them, but it's damn near
frustrating
instantaneous,
people
dude.
that are coming at you with supers and you're just burning them down because you've already got your super up, but you're using the gun instead. That's going to be interesting. I'm gonna like
I'm
try
down
to
to
use
try that.
Yeah. So yeah, that's going to be interesting. And
I mean,
then
yeah, it's going to be better if you have like one and done type supers. It's going to be better for you to use that in lieu of your one and done type super, I
Yeah.
think. So
and
yeah,
It will be mayhem.
mayhem will be mayhem. Yeah.
the Grandmaster starting next week's pretty cool. So
What?
that'll give us the Grandmasters next week. That'll give us something to do each week for the next 6 weeks if we still haven't kind of done our Conqueror seal for that. It is
Mhm.
Conqueror, isn't it? Yeah.
I don't know.
And Gil did
Maybe.
it.
Sounds good.
Yeah. But
Sounds
what
appropriate.
Peroty and I did work out is that if you've kind of if you started trying to guild your seal and you've done a grandmaster in the past couple of seasons, it seems to count those two. So I've got 2 out of 6 that need to be done for grandmasters. So in theory, I could probably avoid next week's one, which is going to be quite hard to do with all that electricity, and maybe do a couple of the easier ones. I'd say easier ones. They're still going to be hard, but I don't necessarily
No,
have
they're
to do.
very specifically going to require you to do that one that you don't want to do.
I could technically do the 4 that are in this season's pack and get that gilded from what's already accumulated, and then
Have
do
you
the other
done
requirements.
many grandmasters
2.
so far?
I've done 1 each season for the last 2 seasons, and that was only because it was part of the seasonal challenges,
Oh yeah, that's true.
which I can tell you
Yeah, yeah.
next week's seasonal challenges. We're on week 7. We have the Wayfinder's Voyage 7. This always reminds me of Star Trek when they do it in Roman numerals. Use the Wayfinder's Compass to complete Wayfinder Voyage 7. Also defeat Taken or Scorn with shotguns anywhere in the system. And that's 100 kills.
Shotguns. No one's using
Yeah.
shotguns in PvE right now.
You say that.
PvP?
E.
E.
This is for E though, right? You need the
Why
kills.
would you use PvE shotguns?
Because
Well,
the challenge. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
The challenge
Oh.
wants us to.
Challenge wants you to get 100 kills. It'll go pretty quick in the astral alignment. So,
Yeah, that
Umbral
won't be
Maven.
bad.
Umbral Maven. We focus tier 3 Umbral engrams at the prismatic recaster in the helm, and you only have to do 2 of those. So that's 2 of your 3 allotted that you can use, and I believe it's something like 600 of that. Whatever it is, the new currency for this season, the gold tokens, whatever you get from all the activities. That you've probably got 3,000 sitting in your character now.
The parallax trajectory.
That's the one. We have Freeze Burn. Defeat combatants with stasis abilities, solar abilities, or shatter damage. Combatants defeated with solar or stasis melee attacks award bonus progress, and that's 500 of those. And that'll give you challenge XP++. And those last couple will give you Wayfinder Compass calibration levels. And then we have the Efficient Leyliner. Complete the alignment activity in under 10 minutes. And that'll give you challenge XP+. Cadre of Contenders. Complete Crucible matches in the Glory rank playlist. Earn bonus progress for wins, and that's 15. And that's challenge XP++, and Bright Dust.
How many
Bring
pluses do they add?
lots of
Plus,
pluses.
plus, plus,
3. You get 3 pluses, so that it's worth going and kind of banging your head against a brick wall. Mm. Plus, you need all your Bright Dust to get the new ornaments for the Halloween event that's coming up.
I'm sitting at 44,000 bright dust right now.
Holy
So I
mother
am ready.
something.
Joseph, mother of Joseph. Let's go with
Yeah.
that. Who was the mother of Joseph? Bring a fusion sword. Defeat targets with fusion rifles and swords in Gambit. Defeating
No,
guardians.
I need you to
grants-
back up. Bring a fusion sword.
Yep, that's what it says. Defeat targets with fusion rifles and swords in Gambit. Defeating guardians grants additional progress. You have to get 100 fusion rifle kills and 75 sword kills, but that will give you Challenger XP++ and Bright Dust.
I want a fusion sword. Does the sword power up and shoot out fusion bolts?
I think it does. I think you get it from Trials. It's called the Solar Scar.
Mm.
And finally, we have Conquest of the Mighty. Complete any Nightfall Strike on Grandmaster, and that is Challenge XP++, and some Bright Dust. So yeah,
So something funny, just happened
is
to
it
me.
related?
It is Destiny related, yes. So I'm in
I
the
always
Iron
have to ask him
Banana,
that question.
right?
Yeah,
I'm in
go on.
Iron Banana, and some guy, a hunter, ice falling, killing things,
Yeah.
right? Well,
Typical hunter.
as
Yeah.
soon as he threw that ice grenade down, I chuck my throwing knife, which bounces and finds people and kills them.
Mhm.
My throwing knife killed someone. It wasn't the guy that I was right next to who was trying to kill me. So that knife went off somewhere, found somebody, and killed him.
My
I'm just like,
boomerang
what
won't
the
come
hell?
back.
Yeah,
You threw your boomerang. It didn't come back,
but it
but
killed
it hit
somebody.
somebody.
It was not the guy that was next to me. It's not the guy that I was fighting. Probably
Well,
some poor soul that just spawned in halfway across the map.
Maybe
you
it
gotta
was the
kill.
guy next to you. Maybe there were two guys and you just
Uh,
weren't observant enough.
Maybe. I mean, it's a thing, but that was hilarious. That I just saw my knife kill somebody, but it's not the guy that killed me. I'm like, wait, what? Where did you go? It went on a journey. Anyway, sorry, I had to share.
That's right. You can share. It's Destiny relevant, so
It's
it makes the cut.
Throwing knife is OP. I love it.
So next week for our Eververse, our silver for the 5th of October is going to be the Lion Tamer for 1,000 silver. That's our exotic emote. We have the Internal Combustion, which is our exotic ornament for the Lament, and that would be 700 silver. We have the Neiman Shell. Now this is one that looks like a lion's head, part of the Neiman set. Exotic Ghost Shell, which is 800 silver. And then we have the Straw Jog Standoff, which is our multiplayer emote, which is legendary for 800 silver. And then we have our Bright Dust for next week, which is the Cat Ear Dance for 700 Bright Dust. The Wanderer's Wing, our exotic ship, that will be 2,000 Bright Dust. Signal Processed, which is our legendary transmat effect for 450. The Bruised Blush, which is our not exotic shader, legendary shader for 300 Bright Dust. Protecting Teammates is our exotic emote for 3,250 Bright Dust. Dreamer's Shell, which is going to be your Ghost Shell, which is 2,850 Bright Dust. Our exotic Sparrow is the Pragmatic Powerhouse for 2,500 Bright Dust. And then we have some legendary gear, which is our ornaments. Our class-based ornaments for next week are our chess pieces. So we have the Neiman's Cuirass for the Hunter, the Neiman's Plate for the Titans, and the Neiman's Robes for the Warlock. And they will all be 1,200 Bright Dust. Now, I only just realised this, that when you actually buy all the pieces all together, it comes to 6,000 Bright Dust, which is roughly what a full set is when you have like our events come around, like Festival of the Lost coming up, which a full set of those ornaments worth 6,000 Bright Dust. So yeah, it works out.
Do you I'm sure there's no we know, but there's only one thing in Destiny that I wish I got that has never come back around. I believe it was only offered for silver, and it was a couple years ago, closer to the beginning of Destiny 2.
So
Do you
the
remember
Iron
there
Banner
was
thing.
No,
Oh,
it was a petting the dog emote. Do you remember like a dog emote?
was it the robot dog?
Maybe, but it was something with the dog, and I feel like it was silver only, and it's never come around since for silver, Bright Dust, anything. And I'm like, oh, I really want that. I need it to come back around.
No, the only thing that I've never seen come back is the Iron Banner one that you could get, and that was for silver, and that was for one Iron Banner that it was available for, or maybe just that one season, and I couldn't afford it, and I didn't get it, and I'm annoyed with myself that I couldn't get it because they've never brought it back.
Well, maybe a robot dog, but even if that's come back, I missed it the one time and it hasn't come back much ever again. I don't, if you ever see a dog one, hit me up.
Oh yeah,
because
yeah,
that's the
I'll
one
let
I'm
you
just-
know.
Yeah.
We have a rare emote, which is 450 Bright Dust, which is Be Sneaky. I don't know why they're putting this in there. There's an ornament for the Telesto, the Broken Telesto exotic fusion rifle for 1,250 Bright Dust, which is Reef in Ruins. And Penguin Projection, which is our legendary ghost projection for 1,500 Bright Dust. And then, as I was talking to Kingsley earlier, the week after, it looks like we're going to get Festival of the Lost. Because we have some stuff that's shown up in the database, which was from previous seasons. The new stuff, there's going to be, it looks like 1, 2, 3 classified things, plus our class-based item in the API that it doesn't tell us at the moment. But it does look like you can buy the masks again, and there's going to be the Fanged Projection, the Balsalt Toxic Legendary Shader, which is pretty nice, and a couple of the emotes that were available in previous seasons. So yeah, that's going to be coming on the 12th of October. So that's a good sneaky preview of stuff to come. But we'll go over it next week of
Spooky.
stuff that could happen that's not probably going to happen because it looks like. I mean, in previous years we had the Haunted Forest, which went along with Mercury and the Infinite Forest, which now isn't there, but it hasn't stopped them kind of simulating the lighthouse on Mercury for their trials people. So who knows? We may still get a simulated version of the Haunted Forest respawn. We do like that with what's his name, Chad?
Oh, is
Yeah,
that what he's called?
it's Chad.
Chad.
It's not Greg. Greg is gone. Greg is on a planet that no longer exists. So yeah, it was Chad. No, Kevin. Started with a K.
I can't remember now. Well, Peroty will be
Keith,
back next week.
Kevin, Kyle.
Peroty will remember. Peroty's back next week, so he'll remember.
Do you want the Force to still be around? I mean, it's going to be Haunted Lost Sectors. If they're good, I don't want the Force to be around also.
Yeah.
The Forest. The only.
I just feel
I
like it's
enjoyed
time to
it.
retire it.
Yeah.
I mean,
Maybe bring it back
the
the
premise is
year
okay.
after.
You know, like how far can you get before you die, kind of thing. But I think I would prefer the dungeon. I have no idea. I don't know what the dungeons are to give a valid opinion. But yeah, the forest is the only reason I put up with it is because it usually gives you a weapon, right? If not for the weapon, then I don't care.
Yeah. We've had was it the Horror's Lease? No, not Horror's Lease. The Horror Story, which was the auto rifle, and then we had another auto rifle, the Braytech Werewolf, which have been the last couple of auto rifles as rewards that you could get rolls on. So hopefully there'll be something else. And I do believe they did wasn't it the catalyst for the Lion thingy, whatever it's called, the grenade launcher.
Oh yeah,
Fighting Lion, that's the
Fine
one.
Line.
I think that was a couple of years back, wasn't it? You could only get the catalyst from doing that at the time, which was interesting. Everybody then started using grenade launchers. So, yeah, I mean,
Yosh.
we've got exciting things coming up, which hopefully Bungie will let us know next week in this week at Bungie.
Oh.
And then we'll let you guys know at the weekend. And yeah, we can go from there.
It won't do anything.
Spooky Destiny.
You.
Now, I thought I'd got all the exotics possible that I
No,
needed to get.
No, you didn't.
Because
What'd you
I
miss?
did. I went and got my precious scars the other week and I thought, that's it. I've got all the exotics. But I realised from watching a video this week by, I think it was Crazy Mr. Pips did a video this week about Trials Easy Wins. And I thought, okay, yeah, I've heard this before. Trials Easy Wins. Let's see how this goes down. But it was a really cool build with a Warlock. And, you know, I've been enjoying the Warlocks with the Rifts in Trials and in Iron Banner as well this past week. And I didn't realise that I didn't have Boots of the Assembler, which were the new ones, I believe, at the beginning of last season, wasn't it? Well, I think it was. It was one of the ones that you could get. Are you a Warlock, Kingsley? You're not, are you?
Yes, I'm a Warlock. I'm looking
Okay.
that up right now.
Okay, I've got it up on the screen, but I didn't know if you knew when it was. So, Boots of the Assembler is Blessing of Order. Standing in a healing rift creates noble seekers that seek out allies that are not in the rift and heal them. Standing in Empowering Rift creates noble seekers that grant both you and your allies a damage bonus. Each time a noble seeker finds an ally, the duration of your rift is briefly extended while you're standing in it. Now, this was very hot, wasn't it, when it first came out? Because if you paired it with Lumina, the exotic hand cannon, I think it doubled the amount of time that the Seekers gave you damage. I believe it's only 5 seconds, but if you pair it with a Lumina, it will give you and the wielder of the Seeker that seeks out, it will give them 10 seconds to go and damage, which is why Crazy Mr. Pips made a video about this, that you could basically be the linchpin for your team of if you drop a rift down and it's an empowering rift and those noble seekers go to your two teammates who then have extra damage to then take out the next couple of players, you've got a kind of foot up in the game. And I will include it in the videos at the end, but I found it a really interesting video. But saying that, going back to what I was originally saying, I thought I had all the exotics and I didn't have this one, so I had to go and get this one today because legs were up in our lost sectors for today, and I got it on my second run, so I was quite happy. I've now got the the boots. But I'm about to tell you what the lost sectors are for. I did highlight them. Where are they? Where are they gone? Oh, don't tell me it's disappeared. Oh, you sod, because I've come off
Okay,
the
I won't
page.
tell you it's disappeared.
No,
But what if it
don't.
did?
It did. Okay, so Monday the 4th of October, we have the Concealed Void on Europa, which will be giving you your helmets. Tuesday the 5th will be the Bunker E15 on Europa, which will give you your legs. Perdition on Europa on the 6th, which will be giving you your arms. Bay of Drowning Wishes on the 7th on the Dreaming City will give chess pieces. Chamber of Starlight on the Dreaming City on the 8th of October will give helmets. The 9th of October, the Aphelions Rest in the Dreaming City will give you your legs. 10th of October, the Empty Tank Tangled Shore Lost Sector will give you your arms. And then finally, on the 11th of October, will be the K1 Logistics on the Moon, and that give you chess pieces. So this is just an easy way to kind of, I say easy way, a good way of target farming exotics that you don't have, or the new exotics that you do want. Those are the times and places that they will be available in the legendary lost sector, which is, I believe, is 13. Is it 1330?
It's
think.
13 easy.
13 easy. Yes. There are also master lost sectors that are the previous day's legendary ones. So if I say Concealed Void on Monday, we'll be dropping helmets. On the Tuesday, the Concealed Void will still be dropping helmets, but it will be a master lost sector and it will be a lot harder, but you can still go to that place and do that. So it just kind of moves across each day.
So Respawn, you know what makes the lost sectors a lot easier?
Oh, what's that, man?
Vex.
Yeah. I'm running across a lot of Vex right now inside the Crucible, and I can't.
You can't deal with it.
I'm getting salty right now. Like no matter what I use against them, I just lose. I start shooting them
Have you
first,
used-
doesn't matter. I start
have
shooting them
you-
second, doesn't matter.
Have
If
you
they have a
used Dead,
Vex, I just lose. That's all it
have
is.
you used Dead Man's Tale? It's a very good counter. Have you used the Messenger? It's a very good
I
counter.
have used the Messenger actually, and
No time
no,
to explain, you know?
Yeah.
I didn't use No Time to Waste. Maybe I could, but I have
I hear
used
that's good work.
the Messenger. I'm currently rocking the Messenger. In fact,
Yeah, Vex is just especially hard if multiple people on the team have it. There's like no getting away from that.
yeah, I am getting really salty about it too.
Stop playing then.
I'm about to, because I have food in front of me, so I have to eat.
Kingsley, did you read any of the blog posts that Bungie posted this week?
Yeah, I read the first
diversity?
one,
Okay.
not the second one. The first one was the diversity one, yes, right? And
Yeah,
then the second
diversity
one,
and inclusion.
Yeah.
I was just going to point people in the direction if they're interested in reading it, but could you give them a brief overview if you've read it, Holly?
yeah, really brief. I forget all the
Yeah.
points they have. Like, if you want a TLDR, I believe in the middle of the article they kind of have some bullet points, but they're just talking about initiatives that they have and goals that they have set to something about, like, I believe 50% of their executive team is diverse. And then they have basically, like any larger corporation probably is doing these days, they have an employee specialist that helps with things like that. Sorry, I'm not explaining it well, but Bungie has always been big on fairness and diversity and whatever words you want to use, but they're just kind of like giving like a little report of how it's going and what they're doing.
I think that's the same with the second blog post that they put, the accessibility at Bungie. And I think most of these things come out of what's happening in the game industry recently with like people being overworked and being discriminated against with color, race, creed, religion, anything. And I think Bungie are just trying to say, look, we're not one of those people. We are a team. We include everybody. We've always done that. It's nothing new, but here you go. You know, here's some of the facts about us as a company.
Seems like that's what it was. Yeah. I wonder, not that it matters, but I wonder why these two things came out right now. If it was just a report they've been working on for a while, or if there was anything also meaningful. Were there any like days, like, you know, not like holidays, but they call those like national diversity or, you know, accessibility day or anything like that. I thought I read something somewhere like there was
Well,
something like that, but
the reason
I'm not
I think
sure.
the reason why they've put the accessibility at Bungie blog post up is because October is the National Disability Employment Awareness Month.
Okay.
So to celebrate that, there's a new pin that's available if you want to grab that from the Bungie store to support that. But I think, like you said, it's just one of those things that the national disability thing came up because that's happening in October, and they did the thing with Black Lives Matter. They've done the same with supporting women in roles and things like that. So if you are interested in looking at those two blog posts, I will link those in the show notes. But anyway, we've moved on to this week at Bungie for the 30th of September. And they do kind of briefly gloss over, they've released those other two blog posts if you want to go and have a look at those. And they're deep in the Season of the Lost. New secrets are unfolding in the Shattered Realm each week, and the plot is thickening up real nice. They don't want to spoil anything, so we won't either. This week at Bungie, Iron Banner Rage is on. Yes, love a bit of Iron Banner. And as we've kind of talked about the changes that, with the going from 125 wins to 150, they do want the feedback. So if you have any feedback about how that has kind of gone on, do get in touch with them nicely, Respawn, and express your views that Vex needs to be nerfed.
Can they please take away Vex and PvP?
No,
Respawn
I don't
says.
want them to take away Vex. I just want to have
He
one.
just wants the Vex.
Can you please drop that in my posts, Master?
Right?
Bungie.
I mean, it's a good gun. I want it to stay a good gun. I would
Yeah.
just like to enjoy the fact that it's a good gun.
I agree. So I think this is going to be about the third or fourth week that we talk about this. But there is a
I assume it's a good gun. I don't know if
clinical trials debrief. So
I'm getting
last
killed by a
weekend
lot.
was the third weekend of our ongoing test and learn.
One shot
The
by the
two big
linear
changes
part of
this
it.
week were running the Trials Labs capture zones.
4.77 time to kill when it's not linear fusion rifle mode.
Respawn. Stop going on
What?
about the Vex. Stop.
Oh, sorry.
We're talking about Trials now.
So am I.
So they did Trials Labs capture zone mode, and they tweaked the flawless port, and that was enabled Sunday morning at 10 a.m. Here are some of the updates on the data they looked into week 3. So the solo win rate remained high at 27%. Solo blowout rates was 37% prior to enabling the flawless pool and dropped below 30% after. These are consistent with week 2. Non-competitive matches 5-0 and 5-1 were at 55% on Friday and Saturday and dropped to 51% on Sunday/Monday. Very consistent overall with week 2. We saw a solid sub 50-second matchmaking timer all weekend, aside from early in card matchmaking protection, causing a slight rise up to 75 seconds during the middle of the night on North America on Sunday morning and Monday morning. Overall, we had 667k players participating in labs, down 33k from week 2, with 220,000 players going flawless. We had 100k fewer matches played overall, which was roughly the same as the average matches played.
So that's about a third, right?
Yep.
If
thereabouts.
667 and then 220.
But at the end of the day, it was still more players than they've had in Trials in a long time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
667,000 players from, I believe it was like just over 100,000 at the end of last season. I think they were saying that I think in the graphs they were showing was that Trials had dipped so much, it peaks in the first couple of weeks because people want the new hotness of armor and weapon. And then once they've kind of got that, they're kind of out and it's just the sweaty players. But now it's the sweaty players and the not so sweaty players and the chancers, like me, in there. One data set that is particularly informative is the average hours played by skill. This shows us that the mid-range of skill, aka the average Crucible player, are playing 1.5 to 2 hours more on average. Meanwhile, the average hours played at the high end of the skill range has barely changed, which is good. The
we
sweaties
did, however.
Oh, okay, you carry on. Go on.
Find a bug.
Well, I do on this point. That kind of just proves some of the fact that some of the people that have been complaining on the high end of the skill, their complaints are a little bit invalidated, showing that all the good players are still playing the same amount.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's fair enough because I don't know if you know this, but we did find a bug with the way the pool-based matchmaking interacts with disabled pools. I don't know if you knew that, right?
I
Apparently,
didn't know. I
it
didn't.
collapses them
I
down
didn't know
into the
it until
previous
this.
pool.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the setup for aiding matchmaking for the first few wins of the week causes an unintentional, flawless mini pool for the first 2 wins of the card. If you win flawless and are on win 0 or win -1 of your... oh, no, there it is. Okay, win
Negative
1.
one.
Well, because I didn't see the dash after the win
Yeah, I
0. I
gotcha.
thought it was like win space 0 and then win -1. Okay, shut up. Of your reset passage, you preferentially match against other flawless players in the same state. Once you get a win 2, this goes away. And of course, starting at 10 a.m. on Sundays, the entire passage has preferential matchmaking against other flawless players. So, those of you who thought matchmaking got harder after going flawless on Friday or Saturday, even though the flawless poll wasn't on, you were right.
God, who cares?
Oh,
I mean,
Right.
still, yeah, it's good that they
I-
found this bug.
I
but
think they took a risk in
I don't-
actually being
no,
open and
I
honest about
think
that one. But
They
yeah.
need to go back to just flawless pool versus not flawless pool. It was way funner. Anyway, this weekend is, I'm sorry, we're planning to fix this in the next few weeks. Hopefully, by fix it, you mean none of this, we'll wait till Sunday reset to enable flawless pool.
Oh no, that was fantastic. To have that, have more people go flawless. I'm happy for those people that were able to play against each other and go flawless. But then come like Monday, Tuesday before reset, I was actually able to go flawless solo. I just couldn't believe it. It's the first time I've actually achieved that in Destiny 2 by myself, and I felt so good for doing it. And it was brilliant because it was people of similar skill playing similar skill, and the matches would, it was really hard to start off with. I was like, oh, I was so
You know what
thankful.
else is brilliant?
What?
The fact that this weekend is off for Iron Banner. There you go. But the next few weekends
know.
will be back to standard elimination. Who knew?
But I
With the
have got
flawless pool starting at Sunday at
I
10
have a
a.m.,
comment too.
we know.
Stop the show.
I have got a little bit of like niggling that maybe I'd like to play trials.
Sorry, what?
Yeah.
No, say that
just-
whole sentence again.
No.
Niggling?
Never again.
Yeah, no. What is that? Hold on. Niggling? How do you spell that? In a way that's not going to get me banned.
Anyways.
NIGGLIN.
Oh my god, it's a word. Holy crap.
Why would I say it if it wasn't a word?
Because you're British. Causing
Okay.
slight but persistent annoyance, discomfort, or anxiety. Look at that, guys. That's an actual word. It's not even like a British word. It's an actual thing. Look at that.
No, but
Huh.
there is that little bug that I've enjoyed playing trials, and I do miss the fact that it's not here this week, so that I could possibly play. Although it has taken a bit of relief out of not having to play, and I can just concentrate on playing Iron Banner and just enjoying Iron Banner.
The problem with this matchmaking pool, and I like the idea, I'm not saying that's the problem, but
Yeah.
how can anyone agree on when's the best time to start it? Some people would want it to start right away. So once people go flawless, they're stuck in flawless.
Yeah,
Some
you're
people would
done.
want to go,
That's what you
I
get
don't
for
know.
going flawless. High-skilled
I'm-
player.
I'm okay with that idea. Or if
Yeah.
they have it somewhere in between, I feel like Sunday morning is a little late.
Yeah,
no, Sunday
because
morning our
it's
time,
not
yeah,
like people work Mondays or Tuesdays, right? No, they just stay at home and play
Because-
Destiny all the time.
The weekend, Friday and Saturday is usually prime time, right? So
Yeah.
maybe either do it right away or do it Saturday morning would be my preference. But I don't know. I don't have the answer. I'm sure
think
everyone
I
has
have
different
the
opinions.
answer. Make
on
it
then.
start right away, like what they were doing already.
Okay, what about this one? I'll throw this one out there for you.
Nope.
Maybe instead of trials just being a exclusive weekend event, like Iron Banner, make it a week event so that people do have a chance at maybe
No.
majority of the week to go flawless, and then when it comes to maybe the Friday night, they switch on the flawless pool. So anybody at the weekend, us casuals, if we're jumping on at the weekend, we then have a chance to go and play and not have to face the sweaty players who've played all week. They've had their chance. They've done their carries. They've beaten other people that have played. Maybe do that, or maybe extend it by a day so that there is a little bit more leeway for people that are able to play at the beginning part of it, and then there's a slight overlap for the people that can still play at the weekend but don't get locked out because of the Sunday reset thing.
That is an interesting proposition. I had a similar question about this that I posted on for Gator on their podcast, Guardian Down podcast, where it's interesting already. Trials, people may not realize if they really look at the math, but Trials is for a full 4 days out of a 7-day week if you take it from reset to reset. Like, well, usually people think, oh, it's just the weekend. Well, yeah, and it's Monday too. But no, it's really 4 full days from Friday reset to Tuesday reset. So what's the point? Either, in my opinion, should it only be the weekend, or maybe all week long, like you're saying?
Yeah, or just why turn off Trials? Just leave it on all the time.
Yeah, well, all week long then, kind of is what you're saying.
Just leave it on. Didn't it used to always be on in D1?
No.
Just leave it on as a permanent game type. Just change the loot every week. Boom, done.
Yeah,
and every week reset, right? So you leave it on all week, right? Come reset, that's when the people that are in the flawless pool get reset so they can play other people, right? Mm-hmm. And that's when the loot gets reset.
And then on the weekend, just Friday, Saturday, maybe Sunday. I love your idea, Nitedemon, if do the different pools, the different matchmaking, and then that'll really get the population up. It's super excited for the weekend. And then they probably won't play during the week except for just the streamers and the carry people.
Sure. The only mistake that I made this previous week with going and getting my flawless done on my first character was I then had to play in the flawless pool on my other characters to see if I can get the 7 wins, and I think is it 50 match wins or something, the round wins to get the other pinnacle. So pro tip, if you're going to do that on your characters and get the pinnacle rewards, just play normal, keep resetting your card until you've got those, and then when you're ready to go flawless, then try and go flawless on your preferred characters. Because
I disagree. If you can go flawless immediately. Because one of two things are going to happen. One, you're going to keep resetting your card, thinking that you're going to go flawless, and then when you actually try to go flawless, you don't. Or B...
No, but like if you're trying to power level your characters, I mean, I still had my hunter and my warlock that were slightly below my titan, who's now just need the legs, and then I'm at, I think, whatever it is, 1330 on all my pieces, but they were slightly lacking behind. So I wanted the pinnacle gear, but I got onto such a roll with my titan, I just carried on going, and I was enjoying it. But then to try and get some of the pinnacle gear, I found it harder playing in the flawless pool. But I thought I'd give it a go because I've got myself into that position and I want to see what the matchmaking is like. And it felt very similar to how Trials used to be. In some of the matches, like, I'd get stomped. All of us would just get completely stomped by the Trials gods that were still playing at that time. And then a couple of the matches felt like week 1, where it was evenly matched, where it could go either way. So I think it just depends on who's in that flawless pool at the time and who it matches you up against. But I did give it a go, and it was still kind of enjoyable, unless I was getting completely stomped by the Trials gods. But yeah, I mean, if you're power leveling, maybe try and do the power leveling before you want to kind of go flawless. If you don't care, and do what Respawn says and just go for it, because it's worth a shot.
Well, I want you to go for it. That way, if you can go flawless, you get out of my pool, and I don't have to deal with you. Yeah. If you're going to have to go flawless, I don't want to go against you, because I'm not. So I want to go against the worst players imaginable, so I can, maybe one day see what the lighthouse looks like.
Respawn wants a pool without Vex. Can we get that pool?
No, I just want the Vex.
But in the meantime,
stop saying these things. I don't want to get rid of the Vex in any way, shape, or form. I just want to have it as well, right? Also, we seem to have somebody that snuck into the channel.
Hello.
What have you done to your microphone?
Nothing. Why? Different headset.
You sound like you're at the bottom of the world, Timmy.
No, he doesn't. He sounds fine.
No.
Hang on. I'm just wrong one.
Sounds like his microphone's a little too close, maybe, but
It sounds like.
How's that?
That's
Sure.
Is that better?
So yeah. Respawn, why don't you finish off the lab talks and then we can ask Arf
yes,
what he's here to tell
we
us.
know shaking it up every weekend has been a bit jarring, and are looking to keep some consistency in the weeks ahead. Labs talk. The first weekend of trials went well. We played a lot, read a lot of feedback, talked to our friends and clanmates, looked at the data. Analytically speaking, the weeks looked very similar, and the matches were slightly more competitive as players grapple with the new rule set experientially. There are some changes we are looking at to make the mode better. Find a different way to vary the capture zone location without giving positional advantage to either side. Internally, we initially tested a single central zone, but found that it created dull, repetitive games as it always collapsed to the usual fast to that central location.
You don't have to read it all in one breath. Take breaths.
I'm taking a breath between paragraphs. The current method.
We've had feedback that people don't like you doing that.
Dying. The current method uses.
And that as well, dying.
Yeah,
Mhm.
right. Really, the current method uses the central tiebreaker position as center, and
If you want to sound like a chipmunk, carry on doing
positions-
that.
Why chipmunk?
Because I'll just speed it up and you'll sound like a chipmunk.
Oh, in that case,
and AC positions from control during advantage round. We use those points to get the mode
into testing quicker, but unfortunately that had the side effect of giving one side an advantage. We like the dynamicism that created when we play tested internally. And that might be a good mechanism in a less competitive mode. But we heard you loud and clear that a significant of an advantage is too much for Trials of Osiris. Okay. I mean, that does make sense. We're looking at I was going to say authorizing, but it's authoring because words are hard. We're looking at authoring additional neutral capture locations in a few maps to support further labs this season. We may still play around with a milder advantage position to use in extreme cases, depending on the map. But we want to make sure we have at least 3 neutral locations. Remove the gain super energy on capture from the capture zone.
That was a bit dirty. You got everybody killed and you could still go and stand in the capture zone and get that extra bump from capturing the zone.
Yeah.
What?
Can
But
you
wait, if
believe-
you killed everybody, does that just end the match?
No, because if
or
you've
not
got
for a few
somebody,
seconds.
yeah, if you've got somebody standing in the capture zone and you jump in there with them, it speeds it up and gives you that extra bump, like you would in Iron Banner. It gives you the
Right.
super.
Oof.
Ooh, yeah.
This specifically after an elimination leads to more snowballing. These changes are going to need more work and play testing than the changes we've been making so far. We are looking to get something ready for another run at Trials Labs. Capture zone as early as December. Then it goes back into talking about that stuff again. And that's it. And then we
Do you
have
think
Threads of
the
Light.
community even wants capture trials? And what do you guys think in general? Let's say it's.
I actually didn't play,
set
I have no
up.
opinion. So ask Damon.
I enjoyed it. Yeah.
So you want it?
No,
I have no opinion either.
I wouldn't say I want it, but I enjoyed it. It was a different variation on just getting killed. You know, it wasn't kind of maybe run to an area and just fight in that area, or everybody run around the map until we can kind of catch one person out. It was you had to kind of try and get to the flag if it was in the middle, and then kind of tactically go for a pick and collapse on the other team, or it was try and get to where the other team's base was, where they had the flag, and see if you can either take them out. Are they defending or are they attacking us? it was a little bit more tactical. But I think if it was a regular thing, I don't think a lot of people would like it. I think it would be something that people would kind of shy away from. I think if it was in trials every now and then, just to freshen trials up, that say on a specific map that it would appear. Again, it depends on numbers. I mean, if they try it again in about 3 weeks' time, are they still going to have the same amount of people want to play that? I think that's the thing, is that to test it thoroughly, you're going to need to have the same game mode, maybe on a different map, with good rewards to see if people still want to play that game mode. Whereas if you only do it once and that's it, I think they're not going to learn a lot from that. And I kind of wanted them to do that with what they did when they initially started this kind of trials and with testing and learning kind of thing, is maybe have it on Burnout for 3 weeks, and have the different game modes for the last 3 weeks, so that it was, you kind of got some of the points, it was the same map, it was maybe the same rewards kind of thing, but then they slightly changed, like it was control, or the flawless pool was enabled at a certain period of time to get a little bit more consistency in their results. Because I think, like people were saying, the second week on Distant Shore, where it isn't a favourable map, also hurt the population for the people that actually wanted to go and play on it. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah. I know everyone likes that map. I'm not a big fan for whatever reason. Again, you shouldn't take my opinion, because the people who play Trials a lot and know what they're doing always say they like that map so much. So I don't know why I don't like it, but
yeah.
Are you getting sniped a lot? Which map is it?
Burnout. I don't know.
Is that the one with the big spinny crap in the middle?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't like that one either.
I'm not saying I'm getting sniped a lot. I don't know. I just don't like it. I don't know what about it.
So, who's reading next?
No, we have an
GM
Arf.
time.
No, Arf has decided to join us.
Oh, so we got to.
Yes, I have.
Oh, yeah.
And my opinion is PvP sucks. So
I'm of that same mindset. Good man. All right. So last where we left off on 5, 6, 7 ripe, right?
Are you guys doing some not half-assed lore?
I mean, why else would he be here?
Sometimes he just drops in to say hello. Yeah, sometimes he just drops in for a hello.
Are you just saying hello, or are we doing lore? What's going on?
no, we're doing lore.
Are we doing lore?
We can mute Kingsley. We can go off and play for 5 minutes.
Well, why would y'all want to do that? Why don't y'all want to participate, huh?
We will.
We can give
I'm here.
everybody.
They'll be listening.
Part.
Yeah, I'm listening.
I walk through the city on broken leg. I am conspicuous, but the people here grant me many affordances. I chose this form well. I sway and catch myself on a low stone wall. I'm ready earlier than anticipated, but I must still learn the next step. I look toward the false dusk I have hung, but it is not yet finished. I am afraid, but it is thrilling to engage in something new after all this time, something unknown. I close my eyes tightly so that they do not bulge. This feeling passes. I open my eyes and search the faces of people around me for familiarity. I did not mean to. I twist inwardly with disgust. When they first searched for me, I reached back in acid mockery, and they opened themselves to me in stupid, naked innocence. I was giddy. My fingers raked their minds. I forced my will through them using only words and met no resistance. Their naivety was beyond description, and I feasted until my eyes welled with black tears. Now, I reach as often as they do, and when they reach back, I am thankful. I speak with them. I seek out their company, their companionship. This is not pity, for I know pity. But what is this? I drop to both knees, clear my mouth, and vomit. The thin black fluid turns to vapor and disappears. I clench the gangling black mess that threatens to unspool recklessly from within this shell of flesh. My new arms are too thin, too weak. My new shell still not bound with thick mucus. Not yet, I say. A moment of blackness, and then a man places his hands on me, on my shoulders, on my back. He asks if I am ill, and he sees my flat eyes, my teeth black with ripeness, and he prepares to scream. I let him keep his mind. I push breath up and through my ruined mouth and speak a simple lie. He stops, smiles, laughs, shakes his head. He points a finger at me in mocking admonishment before walking away. I swallow the fatty morsel of his ignorance, and it gives me the strength to stand once more, cover my face, and resume my walk. I feel this form splitting beneath its wrapping, held together weakly by wet strands of sinew, and from deep inside stirred that latest scrap of deception. I hear the oily growl of the worm. Even here, I basted in the deception, both ample and rich. The worm cries ravenously. It has grown grotesque, skin-taut, overfed. Still, it howls for more. It commands me to keep it alive. I look up, beyond the flickering net of darkness, and see what rests just beyond. Waiting for me, the worm roars. So, I would say, obviously, this is Savathun walking around the city in Osiris's form.
Yep.
Right? And the very end, see, in the beginning, I thought that her wanting to get rid of her worm was just another one of her tricks. But according to this internal dialogue, it seems like she genuinely just does not like her worm.
She has been trying to.
Actually want to get rid of it.
She has been trying to get rid of her worm for a very long time.
Okay.
This is why the curse is in the Dreaming City, because she's been trying to fool her worm into feeding on all that death.
Right.
On a weekly cycle, but the worm rejected it. But there's a couple of bits in this I've read this a few times now, but I've only just been, now we know more what's going on with the actual story. There's a couple of bits I picked up on in this. Now let me just scroll back. Basically, Savathun saying she's ripe. This must, timescale wise, this must be very close of her going into
A chrysalis form.
a chrysalis form. Now, there's been a lot of uncertainty if she went into the chrysalis form naturally or that was helped by Mara. But actually, reading this, I think that's actually part of her formation.
See, the thing that gets me, though, is out of all the hive that we fought, she would be the first one we've ever fought that has wings. Does that mean she is the most
Orcs had wings.
advanced?
Orcs had wings.
He had wings?
Yeah, look back
Yes.
at the video.
I'm gonna go.
They weren't as prominent though, right? I feel like they weren't compared to his size. If you look at Savathun compared to her size.
How do you spell Oryx? O-R-Y-X? O-R-Y?
Yes.
Come on, you
There's
must
another-
remember the
Oh, he's
Shadow of
big
Oryx
old bat
had
wings.
wings.
Okay, I remember now. Yeah.
Oh, my word.
Okay. My bad.
But
I
think,
genuinely forgot about his
Savathun's
damn
were
wings.
just so his actually looks like, I do admit hers look quite a bit different compared to her body. Hers looks like
Well,
some
his
pretty
looks
butterfly.
demonic or
His
vampiric
looks
or whatever.
demonic. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd say more if you're down in the moon, you see lots of moths down there. So I'd say it's more moth-like than butterfly.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Is that just like the male and female thing, or does that depend on the worm they have, or is that different depending on each person, right? Because if he's got bat wings and she's got moth, would somebody else maybe have sparrow wings, or
It could be the difference between the male and female form.
Okay.
But Again, this is not specified, so this is pure speculation.
Can't they change sexes too?
Yeah, Oryx did.
Yeah. Okay. I knew I got that from somewhere. Okay.
Oryx became male because he took the king morph.
Right. The king moth.
Morph.
Oh, morph. It's gonna be like moth. There you go. Interesting. What else did you have to say about that, or did you want to move on?
Well, no, there's been a lot of speculation on who instigated the whole chrysalis cocoon thing for Savathun, because in the cutscene you see Mara making some pretty smooth hand movements there, and with us knowing she had the Aga's scepter, that was a stasis weapon. Do the Awoken, or Mara specifically, already know about stasis? And with them being beings of dark and light, can they already command stasis? And that's actually a stasis crystal rather than actually a chrysalis. But reading through this, I actually believe now this is more a chrysalis or a cocoon rather than a stasis crystal.
Yeah, I'm thinking Mara Sov actually just dispelled her illusion that she was Osiris. Is what I think Mara did.
That's possible, yes.
Well, maybe she didn't do anything yet. The chrysalis formed too quickly. But then how does that answer the question that naysayers will have? Well, why didn't Savathun just form a chrysalis somewhere else earlier?
Because she protected while she's in a chrysalis.
Yeah, we're protecting her. She's in a safe
we're the
spot.
ones protecting her.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Us and the Awoken are protecting her while they figure out how to remove her worm.
Right.
There's
and then
nowhere
she can
else
actually
in the
give us
universe she could have been
Osiris.
protected, I guess. I don't know.
No,
I mean, probably, but why not go to the people that have been killing your people for a long time, you know?
And killed your brother, one of the most powerful beings that she knows of.
She knows we're
brilliant.
capable.
I don't disagree. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I mean, she just had to convince us to do so. And actually, it's less her convincing us and more Mara Sov convincing us, because, let's be honest, I'd do anything for Mara. She's got me in a bad way. Just anyway. So, I got distracted. What?
Chapter 8, Gilded Knives.
Gilded Knives. Okay. So.
And anyway, I'm still annoyed they took Sloane out.
What do you mean?
See, Kingsley knows what I mean.
Yep. Sloane from Titan.
Yes.
But what do you mean they took her out?
You can't just suddenly drop that and not explain to the other people that don't know.
Yeah.
There can't be a
I mean, I know
you
Titan is gone, but what do you mean they took her out? Like they removed her from the game, or she's been killed?
They removed her from the game.
Oh.
Sloane was, what a woman.
She still doesn't compare to Mara. Get out of here, man. They say that the promenade. Okay, well, by the way, we're on 8 Gilded Knives. For those watching or not watching, for those listening. They say the promenade. Well, I mean, I have 2 people at least.
I'm watching.
They say the promenade of the core district never sleeps. In times of celebration, it was a parade ground meant to extol the virtues of the Guardians and show the people of the city the faces of their often distant defenders. To see it empty was almost unheard of since the Red War. Executor Hideo of New Monarchy walked alongside Lakshmi II of Future War, observing vendor stalls, decorated in neon lights that flickered intermittently as they passed. But there were no vendors, no proprietors. Hideo glanced over his shoulder at the 4 Future War Cult security officers that followed behind them at a respectful distance. Do you remember the last time the street was empty? He asked. Yes, Lakshmi said, with a heavy heart. They called me a fool then as well. She did nothing to hide the contempt in her voice. We made mistakes and circled, Hideo, walking in a loop of her own self-made despair. Before he could formulate a response, Hideo spotted the reason for their walk through the endless night. A towering behemoth of chrome and lavender cloth, hunched over in an abandoned plaza. Saint 14 focused on the birds underfoot, gathering a handmade mix of seeds on the ground while he cooed contentedly at the pigeons. You have chosen poor night for walk, he observed as Hideo and Lakshmi approached. Do you need escort back to tower? Hideo shook his head. No, Saint. We went to find you in the hangar, and Miss Holiday informed us that you had come here to... He eyed the birds. Contemplate. Birds are uncomplicated. Good conversationalists. They give me room to think, Saint said with a smile in his voice. How can I help? So the consensus has struggled, as of late, with some of the Vanguard's decisions regarding the city's security. We wanted to expand that conversation to include you, Lakshmi said. But not Arak Jalal? Saint asked. A more pointed and cunning response than either Hideo or Lakshmi had anticipated. No, Hideo quickly confirmed. Lakshmi verbally maneuvered around Hideo's answer like water around a stone. This is about ensuring that the best interests of the city are at the forefront of the Vanguard's mind. Saint fixed his helmed visage on Lakshmi. The Lakshmi. A statement, not a question. The Vanguard are a military force, and the consensus does not doubt their commitment to defending the city beyond its borders. Lakshmi carefully worded her approach. But we have come to doubt that a military force is the best governance for the cities inside its walls. Saint squared his shoulders as if presented a challenge and looked between Hideo and Lakshmi. His stoicism twisted Hideo's stomach into knot. We would like to propose a restructuring of the city's leadership, placing the Vanguard as the authority for what goes on outside the walls. Hideo gestured toward the mountains, and respective leadership here inside the city, he motioned to Saint. This is bad plan, Saint said without any attempt of obfuscating his feelings. Surely you understand that tactical options in the field do not always apply unilaterally in a civilian quarter, Hideo pleaded. On top of that, the Vanguard is stretched too thin. They cannot be the leadership they need to be. Saint balked. Then why come to me? I am no politician. But you are a leader, Lakshmi countered as she placed a hand over her chest. A hero. A symbol to the people. Saint drew in a steady breath and grew silent. It may not feel like the right choice because of your personal feelings toward Commander Zavala and Ikora. Change can sometimes feel distasteful. But I know you aren't one to ignore your sense of duty. Saint looked down at his feet, at the bird, at the seeds. I must speak with Osiris, he asserted. Lakshmi briefly regarded Hideo and nodded. And give your partner our regards. I will, Saint said stiffly, scattering the last of the seed in his hand to the birds before departing the plaza. Hideo and Lakshmi waited under the watchful eye of the traveler until the saint was gone. If he tells Zavala or Ikora, Hideo said through clenched teeth, Osiris will stop him from doing anything so stupid, Lakshmi said, the softness in her voice gone. And if he is so short-sighted as to refuse us, as Saladin did. Hideo's stomach twisted again. Boom shakalaka. So, honestly, I was completely wrong about Saint. I thought Saint would have just outright refused anything that would...
Saint's cleverer than you give him credit for. Don't forget, he was the Vanguard commander.
Right, I know that, but it's not about cleverness. It's about... it's about his morals, you know? I thought Saint was...
What do you want him to do? Just turn around and take these two out or something? Would you not rather him find out the information that, they're holding onto and then go and report back?
I mean,
also,
they've already approached him.
forces.
They've already approached him, and considering how they didn't tell him the plan in this section, means previously they did tell him what the plan was, right?
Well, no, he understands they're down for a coup.
Right.
Yeah. So what better plan then? Go and actually have a quiet word in Zavala's ear and maybe Ikora's ear. Say, keep it on the down low. I'll go in with them. I'll speak to them, and then we can actually do something about them as a whole once we've got all the evidence.
Yeah, because remember, Ikora last time wanted evidence to know what was going on.
Yeah, pesky evidence. Damn it.
It's the building block of democracy, or one of the building blocks of democracy.
Because I think even then,
Evidence,
last
shredded.
week you were saying, why doesn't she just take her out? Why or arrest her or something? And Arth was telling you she can't just do that because she's got no evidence. I think with this, they're building up enough evidence to do whatever the Vanguard do.
They're building the case against her.
Yeah,
And Saint's going to become the inside man.
because you
All right.
Or potentially could become the inside man.
He is. So I was right about saying there's no way he would consider this. He's just doing this as a way to get them to expose themselves and get the evidence he needs.
Yes.
Okay. So that makes me feel a little better because I was convinced that Saint's morals, there was no way he'd allow for something like that to go down.
Saint is not daft. He will do the right thing.
Fair enough.
Do you know what daft means?
Yes, I know daft.
Well, you question me on every blooming word. Yeah.
Sorry,
Because you've come
I'm
up with
daft.
things like the other one I'm afraid to say because if I say it wrong, I'll get banned. Right?
What?
That other
What
word.
other word?
The one you used earlier for constant annoyance.
Niggle.
Like what you are to me.
I'm a niggle. Yeah. I niggle.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Sorry, I missed out on that one.
Yeah.
I'm just this
I
niggling
thought
thing in
he
the back
just
of his
made it up.
mind that just plays, with him.
Yeah.
What?
It's not even a British word. It's like an actual word.
What's
It's
he
like,
going to
holy
do
crap.
this week? What song is he going to make me sing this week?
Uh,
Or what?
He's
Nah,
already
yeah,
done
I know.
that. He did that voluntarily.
I think I did a couple this show so far.
Kingsley, did you have a couple of questions?
Not on the most recent stuff that was read, but it's always good to hear this again. I was most intrigued in the first one about Savathun, but yeah.
You're talking about
This
when
is
she
all
was
good
walking the
stuff.
city in Osiris' skin.
Yeah.
I still
Well,
want to
now
know
he knows
what
Osiris' skin
happened
and I
to
was
him,
wrong.
you know? Like, because I initially thought that she inhabited his body because he was screaming in her brain whenever she was with Saint.
Maybe there's some connection there.
Right. But
She has
now,
to maintain some connection with him to actually mimic him.
like Doctor Who, whenever the copycatters have to store the people so they can mimic their thoughts and form. I forgot. The big pink blobs, what were they called? I can't remember. But it's Doctor Who reference. Yeah. So maybe something like that. Because
the big pink blobs, didn't they actually just take the skin?
No, the big pink blobs took people, they put them in pods, right? And from when the people were in the pod, they could take their
you are
form,
right there.
and they were sharing their thoughts and memories with the people in the pods. That's why they were so good at deceiving people, was because they actually had the thoughts and the memories of the person that they were copying connected to them. Yeah, I know things. I'm a Hoover. I'm part of the Hooniverse. Yeah.
That's a Hoover. I think you'll find that's a Hoovian.
If he wants to be a Hoover.
Yes. If you call yourself we'll call him Henry.
You guys talk about the weekly story, or is it still considered spoiler?
To be honest, it's out there for everyone to see. So it's...
Yeah, I've already been spoiled. I haven't done this week's. I did last week's this week. I haven't done this week's this week. But I do know.
You can talk about it.
Go for it.
So I'm allowed to talk about it?
All I know is now apparently Crow knows what he did.
Crow knows everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. He touched Savathun's chrysalis and they had a mind meld.
Go ahead and lay it on me.
Yeah, and he knows everything now. No, but he touched Savathun.
Oh, legitimately.
Yes. There was no euphemism there. That's
legitimately
what
at the end of the story.
I mean, I thought he was making like a Star Trek reference. You know, had the mind meld or whatever.
He did, yeah.
Well, I was,
and she gave
and then they
him
a
all
mind
his memories.
Meld. She basically him all his.
So
history.
How would she give him all his memories?
Like,
I don't understand
angry that people kept this from him?
Because she has some sort of power, she can actually unlock them.
Okay.
The Awoken
he was
have
obviously
that power
very
as well.
distressed.
Yeah, because wasn't this what
there is-
Mara was trying to do to him to unlock what he'd previously been?
Well, she didn't want to physically do it because then she the people that are trying to keep it a secret. But she was saying and doing things to kind of nudge him to realize what was going on.
But
You
he
know, like when he
didn't want
said,
to, did he?
No,
well, he
No,
can,
in the
I
lore that we
mean,
were going through with Darth, it wasn't something he wanted to kind of dwell on. He didn't want to go back to that.
no, but he in this case now he wanted to find out so he could actually move on from it. From
Yeah.
what I can tell,
well, we
and
wanted
he
to
was.
find out because
But
the
don't
last
forget-
couple of weeks, what's her face kept fighting with his ass. The right hand of Mara. What the hell's her name? Petra. Petra kept pushing his damn button. So yeah, I'm sure he wants to know now because she keeps treating him
No, it wasn't
like an
that.
enemy.
They have been trying to keep him away from Savathun, so he can't talk to her for this exact reason.
Yeah.
He snuck into.
How are
That's
they
not
trying
what
to keep him
he snuck.
away? Oh,
Yeah,
I guess he snuck
but he
in,
has
but
to
the
walk
doors are always
directly
wide
past
open.
Mara, which I don't understand how he did it. Unless he's a.
Well, I
unless,
mean, he's a hunter.
Yeah.
We have smoke
Oh,
grenades.
every time I
so...
walk past her, she doesn't
no,
care.
he's
She's too busy.
he's a void hunter. He did his dodge and
Yeah.
legged it in.
She never notices when
Yeah.
I walk past. She's like always busy. But so he's obviously very disturbed, and then he starts even blaming us, the Guardians. Like, you knew also.
Yeah,
I'm
but
like,
he's figured
I
out.
might
If
have
you
told
actually
I just
listen
didn't
into
have
that, he's
the.
figured out we killed him, and he says he doesn't blame us. He would have done the same.
Yeah, I know. Which is cool, but then he was
Oh,
also disturbed
see,
though. Like, we
that's the
didn't
thing
tell
that I
him.
wanted to talk about
I'm
because
like-
somebody said that, right? Somebody said he didn't blame us for doing what we did. Now, does that confirm that we are the ones that
I
shot
was just
him,
about to say that.
or just that we allowed Petra to shoot him? Because
Again, it's
we
still
were
quite.
there with Petra.
Yeah, it's still quite
It's still
ambiguous.
open
you know?
ended.
Yeah, it's open.
Yeah,
So we still don't know.
Yeah.
He just assumed, hey, you like the royal you. I don't
yeah.
blame you guys for what happened, not you specifically for shooting me. Okay.
Well, all he'll remember is we were stood next to Petra, both pointing guns at him.
Right.
So he's put two and two together and went, well, you must have.
Yeah.
Now,
I mean, you kind of had
I
it coming,
remember
though.
listening to something where somebody had actually put the sound of the shot together and they couldn't actually match it up with any gun in Destiny. But then they got the Ace of Spades or the and whatever gun Petra's using.
Was she
Put
using
the
a
sound-
sidearm?
Yeah, put the sound
Yeah.
together.
Vestian.
Vestian Dynasty. And
Vestian
I
Dynasty,
can't-
isn't it?
Yeah, put the sound of the two together, and the sound of the two together matched the sound of the shot that we heard killing Uldren.
Oh, we both shot his
So we
ass.
both shot him at the
There
same
you
time.
Freaking Boondock Saint style.
Yeah.
There you go. I can dig it. I can very much dig it. And it does make sense because, us as a Guardian wanted to avenge
You say
Cade.
Boondocks.
She wanted to avenge Cade.
I've got Bad Boys in my head where that slow shot where Will Smith
Boondock
and Martin
State.
Lawrence kind of stand up and they're both pointing in the same direction with the guns.
Yeah, you've
Well,
just
I mean,
seen
I
it
like
from
Boondock
Uldren's point
Saints
of view.
because,
Yeah.
they give a prayer before they cap your ass.
Okay.
It's not personal for them. It's just you're a bad person and you died.
Okay.
Anyway, so yeah. So is that it? I mean, and he's just
Well, and then if you, I don't know if you guys get into this later because of the lore pages, but he has a new assignment basically.
He has a new
coming up.
He has a new fire team.
I forget all the details.
Oh, he's got a fire team now?
Yes. Remember the fire team that was running with Mithrax? Yeah.
Yeah.
It was in law that Mithrax had his own fire team.
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
No.
that fire team has been went to Zavala and said, "Look, what's going on? We could do with a third. Are you going to assign us anybody?" And he said, "Well, funny you should say that. I've got you a new assignment." And he assigned them a new guardian, and that guardian could be the Crow. Because they are the open-minded two that have already run with the Elixni, he thinks they could actually be the ones to accept who he was with no prejudice.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, the two hunters and a warlock, but they're not saying who the two hunters and the warlock are.
That's the opposite podcast from us.
Well, no, I'm reading. Oh, that yeah.
What about two warlocks and a?
I'm just seeing if somebody knew who the names were.
I believe there are names out there for them, but I can't remember them offhand. I'd have to do some research.
So, like, nostalgic names we'll recognize once we hear, but not like somebody that, holy crap, like Saint Osiris or his fire
They're
team
not.
kind of
They're
thing.
not
Well,
famous in
not
the
Osiris,
slightest.
obviously. No?
No,
Okay.
they're quite. The names are kept fairly quiet because they are the open-minded.
So the fact that it's not Zavala and Ikora tells us he's definitely not going to be the Hunter Vanguard.
Yes.
Otherwise, that would be his fire team.
No, because the majority of the Vanguard or the Guardians still aren't aware of his identity.
Sure. I wonder how that's going to come out. That's going to be a hell of a... Hey, guys, look, we have a new Hunter on our team. And his name is Prince Aldrin. His name is Crow. Yeah. Just don't ask him to take his mask off, ever.
No, he's got it off now.
And you just see this almighty rush of Guardians going, get him!
Yeah, I mean, probably. But I mean, see, that's the thing that really bugged me. And it still bugs me because every Guardian knows you are not who you used to be. Hell, even a lot of the times your personality is entirely different, from what you used to be. Your ghost pulls out the core aspects of your personality, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to be the same person that you were before death.
But I think because the wound was so fresh with Crow, with Aldrin, I think that's the reason why the Guardians have reacted as they have when they have seen him.
Yes.
And I totally get both sides of that argument.
You killed Cade 6. I'm going to beat you to death.
But that's just it. He, and obviously I've said this a million times, but he didn't kill Cade 6. Aldrin killed 6.
Hang on.
And on top of that, it was a corrupted Aldrin.
I had to convince you of that.
Yeah.
Huh?
I had to convince you of that.
Yeah.
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 But still, I mean, however we get to that point, we're there, And what? It's because I was still fairly new to how Guardians were created and what happened, right? And once I realized that, the ghost, when you're resurrected, you're not the same person that you were before.
No,
so that was one thing, right? And the other thing is, it's forbidden to look into your past as a Guardian. That was the third thing. And the fourth thing is, it's Guardian code to not hold your past against you, right? So those three things right there, doesn't matter what Crow, because he's not Aldrin anymore, doesn't matter what Crow did in his life as Aldrin.
Yep.
Because even then, Aldrin was corrupted on top of that. So that wasn't even true Aldrin,
Hang on.
A minute. Is this the
You've
same
got to remember...
Hunter Master Rager that went on and on and on and on about it when he first appeared again, and you went, that's Aldrin?
Yes, it is.
Oh, God.
But you've got to remember, there are very few Guardians that have appeared when their life is remembered in the same lifetime they've died.
Yeah.
And are remembered by people for their actions, especially this one.
I mean, to date, the only ones we know are him and Anna Bray, right? Those are the only
not
two.
Even Anna Bray.
Really?
She died back in the Golden Age.
Oh. Wow. I didn't realize her stuff lasted that long. I thought she died like a couple lifetimes ago, but not that long ago. Jesus.
Well, the only reason
the
only reason why she knows who she is because she had a security tag on her body.
Past. Yeah, she dug into her past, yeah.
No, she know her name because she had a security pass, almost like you swipe cards to get in secure facilities.
No, I know, but what I'm saying is...
on it. And then she researched the name.
That's why she dug into her past, because of the card, which she was forbidden to do. Yes, it's the same Hunter that had a different opinion because you know what? A warrior evolves over time, all right? If you're stagnant, then you'll never succeed, all right? So I was educated, my opinion was reevaluated, and it has been changed.
I'm clipping that, and I'm going to play that to you every single time that you throw out one of these wild opinions.
I mean, I can still throw out wild opinions.
I know you can. But I'm gonna throw this back in your face every single time.
And they might change. I don't know. They might say the same. Like the fact that, Titans are stupid.
Anyway.
Sorry?
Before I go,
yeah.
Do we have any feedback that needs answering regarding lore?
No, just the ones you already answered before in the chat. You were having a back and forth with what's his face. That's the only feedback we've had.
So what I'm getting from this is basically Arf would like some feedback from any of the listeners. Send us an email, send us a message, any means how. We'll get it to Arf, because Arf is craving to get some feedback or some questions that he can answer. And
Yeah.
we'll pass them on to him and he will answer them.
He
So,
might
yeah.
not have time to answer them during the show,
No.
but he'll probably answer in a chat and we'll relay the message.
As
Yeah.
best we can.
Anyway,
Yeah.
go away, Arf.
Yes,
You've had your
I'm
time. Stay.
going.
Go away.
Nice chatting.
Bye.
Bye, Arf.
See you
Thank
later.
you.
You see.
Thank you.
All right.
But
Moving
you
on.
have your
GM
own Arf,
time.
don't you, Kingsley, over on your show? Mr. Des Raven.
Yeah. Des
So,
Raven.
yeah, if you want to listen to
Yeah.
some more lore, go and check out the Guardian Hub podcast.
No, keep listening to ours.
No, and ours, of course.
Yeah, listen to ours first, and then go over there to see if we're right or wrong.
So, as we pointed out with the blog post that Bungie went over, there's Disability Awareness Month, which is October. There's going to be a new pin available in the Bungie store and a new emblem available once you purchase that. And that's going to be available throughout the month of October. And 100% of the profits from the pin will be going to the Able Gamers Foundation. So if you want to go and check that out, it'll be available from October 1st. So it's available now. And I linked the Bungie store in the show notes if you want to have a look at that. They are still going on about their Threads of Light. So this is their new fashion magazine for Guardians. There is a couple of pictures of some of the ones that have been submitted. I don't see Knowlesy's there, so I'm a bit upset that Knowlesy either hasn't done it or nobody's recognised Knowlesy from last week. But they do post a couple of cool pictures of some of the Guardians that have been sent in. They do make note that they haven't yet chosen their Warlock, Titan, or Hunter to go on the front cover of the next one.
How do you submit it though? Like if you like, because
It was on. You
I'm
either
doing it
get
right
in touch
here.
with them.
I'm doing it right here.
can't. It's too late.
I've clicked Threads of Light, right?
It's too late.
And it just takes me to their Twitter. What do you
Yes,
just
that's
submit
it.
it here, the Twitter?
On the Twitter, yeah. All the other pictures are from Twitter. But I think last week they were saying you could get in touch on any of their socials and just do hashtag Threads of Light to be eligible
Oh
for
my
a
god,
win.
they have a Patrick Titan. Oh my god.
But your time was up. Respawn, it ended at the 30th of October. Sorry,
Oh yeah,
30th
fair enough.
of September.
Well, I submitted my Joker one. I just wanted to know if
We'll just submit it next time. I want to see you there.
fair enough.
And now it's GM time. So next week, coming up on Tuesday, we set Grandmaster difficulty unlocks for Nightfalls. First up this season, you'll be going into the Hollowed Lair Nightfall to face off against the Fanatic and his Horde of Scorn. Be careful, Dead Thing, as Scorn have recently discovered ways of wielding stasis. Things might get a little icy out there. If this is your first go at the realm of Grandmaster difficulty, just let you know that the power bar is set very high for this aspirational activity. So make sure that those numbers pumped up to 1345 to get started. So that means that you can either have artifact, like stupid amounts of artifact power and not so much in your gear, or have your gear up to 1330 and have like 15 plus on your artifact. You do you, basically. As long as you are 1345 or above, you can get into it. Where are we? So they do recommend snagging some bounties, and that's the main thing. Is just if you're playing the game, pick up bounties. Have a look on the app, because I think having a look on the app, there are bounties that kind of cross over. So even if you're not doing astral alignment activities, you can still pick up astral alignment bounties that will still count towards maybe like doing auto rifle kills, but it progresses faster in astral alignment. But you can still progress them by doing other activities. And the same with like if you are doing a strikes like and picking up all the strike ones, you could potentially pick up the through the app again. You don't necessarily have to go to the places, go to the locations and pick up the location bounties as well, and you can complete those on top. So stacking lots and lots of bounties and just keeping them going as you're playing is a good way of kind of progressing your artifact really quickly, and has helped a lot of people this season. I've seen people up to nearly like 800 on their artifact power. It's ridiculous. So you can do that. You can pick up the pinnacle powerful bounties like Iron Banner this week has the 4 available. Trials has 2 that are available each week. And then you have the ones on Europa where you have the Clovis Bray tests of you know, like jumpings and killing and things. There's the Master Nightfall hunts on Europa as well that also do pinnacle gear if you're around 1340. So there are a lot of ways to get pinnacle gear to get you up to getting into these Grandmasters. But they do say later in the season they'll be making some changes to the Grandmasters and their accessibility, and they mentioned these in previous TWABs. And upon rereading them, some of the bullets we realised it may have looked like these changes were going to go live in tandem with the Grandmasters before becoming available this season. Apologies if we caused any confusion following the changes are coming up in the current plans for December. So this wasn't this that they were going to have the catch-up node available when the Grandmasters went live, wasn't it? So if you'd already done your Conqueror seal, the selectable Nightfalls was going to be available when the Grandmasters went live. I thought that's how they kind of made it sound in previous TWABs. So what they're saying
Yeah.
is that that's not going to be available at the moment, anyway.
And for some reason, I thought that was even live last season, so I wasn't really keeping up with that. But now it's not even
And
live
I don't
until
think
December.
there was any confusion. I think that's how they stated it. It was if you've done your Conqueror seal already, when the Grandmasters go live this season, there'll be the node that you can select the Grandmasters. So you could basically do it all in the first week, and you could be Conqueror times whatever you were. And I don't understand where they thought they got a bit of confusion. That's how they stated it, but obviously not. That's not coming up. So the Grandmaster catch-up node will become available at the same time as Grandmaster difficulty available, so long as you have had the Conqueror title but not yet gilded it this season. Okay, how would you have gilded it this season? That doesn't make sense.
Yeah, and then now they're saying at the same time it's available. How does that match up with the December
I'm
thing?
confused.
Me too, a little bit. I'm sure someone's screaming at us, but I haven't gotten enough into the Grandmasters lately to really research this more and care. Plus, I wasn't on our last episode, so maybe
Well,
Sin and
I
Des
did
talked
have a
about
quick
it
look
already.
on Twitter today because I was looking for stuff for the Respawns Report Roundup, but there wasn't anything. Literally, when DMG's away, there's nothing kind of being sent out. There wasn't anything on Destiny News Plus and things like that. But the only thing I did find was Rick Kakis pointed out. He said, "Wait, so it says that the catch-up node will go live at the same time as the GMs, but then it says later in the season. I'm confused at Cosmo 23." And then Critical Casual states they stated above that the recap of the changes these are planned for December. I would assume that no node until December, and future seasons will have it at launch when the GMs go live. And then Cosmo says, "Yeah, you got it." So
Okay, so what's coming like the season
Yeah.
after? But they should have worded that a little bit better.
So them saying that the catch-up node will be available at the same time Grandmaster difficulty is available isn't coming till the next season, I'm guessing, because it says for this season it's not coming until December. Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
So now that we sorted that out,
That would make logical sense, but they shouldn't have written it like that. Everyone's assuming.
yeah. Well,
Yeah.
thank you for Kakis for pointing that out and getting that cleared up. So at the moment the node won't be available, but it will be in the coming seasons. So Grandmasters will have already gone live by the time this change comes out in the later seasons, but the catch-up node will be available when the Grandmaster first starts in the seasons going forward. Each Grandmaster Nightfall will be available if the fireteam leader has not completed the Gilded Triumph for that strike during that season. In other words, you may play each featured strike for a season until you earn a Gilded title. Once you've gilded your title, the catch-up node will no longer be available. So literally, like we said, you could, once the Grandmasters become available and the catch-up nodes or the nodes there, you'll be able to then select whichever Nightfall you want to do and gild your title really quickly.
Yep.
Good. Glad I've got that sorted.
Clear
That's the way
as
I read
mud.
it in my head. Yeah, clear as mud. In terms of loot, there aren't any major changes happening. Completing Grandmasters give you the chance to the depth version or variants of the Nightfall specific weapons, such as the Palindrome hand cannon or the newly released Hothead rocket launcher. Players may earn enhancement cores, prisms, and ascendant shards for their efforts. We recently made a change where adept weapon mods for impact, charge time, blast radius, and projectile speed can now be acquired from the Grandmaster Nightfalls, in addition to Trials of Osiris and raids. Good look out there. Guardians, fire teams taking on the darkness Don't feel ashamed if you need some guidance. Mind you, there are plenty of creators throughout the community that are eager to provide tips, tricks, and in-depth guides.
I
to
know a
help you on
guy.
your way to
I
your
know a
concept art.
guy.
And with that, I will.
You.
Do you? With that, I will find a guide at some point for the Fanatic, and we'll stick that in our show notes. Hopefully, there'll be one next week. And if I find out what the Grandmaster is, if somebody does a kind of pre-guide, I'll try and link that in the show notes if anybody needs that.
This is a really long way of them saying nothing's really changing right now, but still trying to like get us excited that something's changing. Just not right now.
Yeah. I hate it when they don't say it in plain English, like this is happening now. It's like all these extra words in there. It's like bullet point it, this is happening, this is happening, this is happening, this is happening next season, this is happening, this and that. It's like, oh.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway. So as you are standing Peroty, KingsleyMac, would you
Ooh.
take us through what Peroty likes to do?
Yes.
These are bugs and anything else, known issues.
For sure.
So,
I can do
yeah,
that.
this is Kingsley's known issues.
And the title of this section is called Wake Me Up When September Ends. Mm-hmm. Get it? The song? Do you want to sing it, Respawn?
I did earlier in my brain, but you missed it.
All right. Now we turn it over to our trusted experts on the player support team with an important update on the state of the live game. This is the report. Bungie names and code of conduct. You know, we've been hearing some about that. But they tell us that earlier this week, many Bungie names that players have been using since Season of the Lost began were removed and changed to Guardian. This change occurred due to players attempting to bypass our filters and code of conduct. Have you run into anyone with the name Guardian?
I have. In one of my
No.
previous raids, not this past week, but the week prior, his name was Guardian. I was like, dude, what was your name before they changed it? And he said his name was Shax. SHAXX. He said that was his name, and they changed it to Guardian. I was like, that's petty as hell. What?
Copyright, I guess. I don't know. Anyways, players will be able to change their Bungie name sometime later in the season. That goes along with all of us. We can change our name if we want to, but not until they make that update. Maybe December, maybe earlier. Who knows?
But it's not when September ends, that's for sure.
No, yeah, we are not in September anymore. Known issues. While we continue investigating various known issues, here is a list of the latest issues that were reported to us. We're aware of player reports claiming that Nothing Manacles isn't working as intended. This is under investigation. This is sad for me as a warlock. The new seasonal arms, and I don't know what that is because I haven't used it much, but supposedly it's not so great right now.
Those are the ones that improve your
Scatter grenade.
scatter grenades, yeah.
Yeah.
And I believe Fallout did a test I think at the beginning of the season, and went, yeah, there's nothing, they don't change. It's the same damage.
Nothing
It's
manacles are nothing.
Yeah.
All right, fix that, Bungie. Players having issues unlocking an entry in the Ripples lore book may need to wait in the helm until the entry unlocks. Wait how long? We do not know. Have a chat with the crow while you're waiting.
Yeah.
Step 43 out of 53 of the Wayfinder's Voyage continuously points players to the portal, regardless of what side they are on. So you could be going in and out forever. To complete this step, players should make their way to Savathun's location. See, this is why you don't rely on the waypoints too much. You got to kind of have slight directional abilities in your mind.
Not be a dummy. If it says go talk to Mara, go talk to Mara. Don't keep going in and out of the damn portal.
But it's saying this way. No, it's saying this way.
Oh yeah, I hate it when it keeps doing that. Yeah.
If players abandon Wayfinder's Voyage on step 19 out of 53, they are unable to complete it when they reacquire it. So don't stop. I mean, here's the thing. You should never abandon a quest because you never know. I mean, usually you can get them back fine, but I guess this is a very unique. If you're going to abandon it at all, don't do it at 19 and then hope to get it back.
And that was a good song, dude. Don't stop believing. Hold on to the end of the
Mhm.
season. I should have sung it. It was great.
And that's their only new issues. Now, I have an announcement also. I've been reviving a spreadsheet that I keep of Destiny 2 known issues. And you may ask, why
do you do that?
Because they're listed. Well, the thing is, as Peroty and you guys would know, not all issues are listed correctly on the known issues website. Some things like DMG may just list in Twitter. Some things they'll put in the TWAB and then not move over to that site right away. And then also, sometimes DMG or someone on Twitter will say, oh, we have a fixed plan, blah, blah, or whatever. But they don't add that to the known issues. So what I do is I keep a spreadsheet, and it should be up to date again by the time this episode comes out. But I list all the known issues and I categorize them into like, is it an activity based? Is it a armor based type thing? And then I have a column for what the issue is. And then I have a column if there is a known workaround, which many don't, but some do. And then I have a last column if Bungie has told us anything about when it may get fixed. And so it's kind of just a nice one-stop place you can go to kind of see all the issues.
Question.
That's really good.
Do you have a separate page in this document that is very specifically dedicated to Telesto?
No, but upon request, I guess that would make
I
sense.
mean, it's always breaking something. Hell, it just broke something last week, right? So,
Oh, Cheese says it's still broken.
never mind. It's still broken. So
And see, that's the thing too. I do rely on. I can't follow all community feedback, but if sometimes I'll hear things too, like, yeah, Bungie will say they fixed it, and then if it's not fixed from what people are actually saying, I'll add it back in.
Yeah.
But some of those things I don't hear about. So if people hear those, let me know. There's a submission, submit thing. If you notice
If you
an issue that I
drop
don't
me
have.
all the links, I will link them in our show notes so that
Thank
people
you.
can then get in contact with you if they do know of any issues. And maybe if you rendezvous with Peroty, who likes to keep his own set of known issues and have a whole list of things, he may have stuff that you don't know about as well.
Oh, of course. This is something I started a really long time ago at the beginning of Destiny 2, and then I fell off of it for a long time, and I've just been sprucing it up again. And I figured, why not? I had a few extra minutes, and I'm sure it's not going to be 100% complete by any means, but I hope it's somewhat useful to someone.
Yeah. That's really handy to have.
But that's the only ones that they list in this TWAB of
Yeah.
new known issues.
That's the thing. I mean, they list what's kind of come to the forefront that week, not necessarily stuff that may still be affecting people that we've covered like 2 or 3 weeks ago when they did come up, like for majority of amount of people. So if you're listening to a show and you go, they haven't listed mine, it may still be there, and it may be just buried on the known issues page, like Kingsley said.
Mm-hmm. And there's plenty of issues that they don't tell us about that are more like cheese things. Like I leave those up to more like cheese forever things that quote like you can get around something in the game to do something better. They don't want people to know about those, so they don't list them under known issues. But when you see issues that have been fixed, there's always like tons of things that were fixed. You're like, oh, that was a thing,
crap.
but
I mean,
they
I
never
could
listed
have
it.
had Infinite Super as a hunter if I would have just equipped, this
Right.
particular armor set from 4 years ago. What?
So I'm mostly just listing things that are Bungie is listed, DMG is listed, or community members have listed as a big issue, but not so much like cheese type things. I leave that up to him.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Well, speaking of cheese, I've got some tips, tricks, guides, and builds for you for the YouTubes if you're interested in checking them out. So I have a Destiny 2 quick legendary shard farm. So this is one that's been available for quite some time, and I'm just re-highlighting it. Or Tuka Frost is re-highlighting it.
Drop that in the chat because I need that right
purchase-
now. Like legit, I'm broke as hell. So drop it in the chat so I can see it.
Well, I'm just about to tell you how to do it. So basically, you go to your collections, you buy as many of the transmit effects as possible for Glimmer. You then take them to Amanda. She then turns it into a legendary. You can then dismantle that, and that will give you legendary
How
shards.
many?
But it's basically using Glimmer to actually get shards. But again,
Wh-
check out Tuka Frost's video.
What's the
and,
ratio?
they'll talk you through that.
Like 500 kilometer to 7 shards, or
I can't remember. I'm just telling you how it was done.
Figure it out.
Esoteric, if you're looking for all the mysteries, anchors, and data caches, and a complete ruin of Wraith locations guide, he has the guide for you for that. It's really good. He puts these out literally within the first couple of hours of the new Shattered Realm going live. So if you don't want to wait for me to tell you about it, go and check it out, because I think next week will be the last week for all the hidden stuff. And again, after about 2 hours, he puts his complete guide out. So check that out.
All right, so what am I pulling out to take to Amanda Holiday?
You want to go, the blue transmit effects that you
Blue
can get out of your
yeah.
collections. If it's you can convert 3 into a legendary, isn't it? Something like that. Anyway, really cool this week. Castle Content has put out how much resilience that you may need in PvP. Really detailed, going into like weapon types and TTKs of various different weapon types up against like what resilience you may necessarily need. And I know you're thinking it's 7 because you always just say 7 respawn, but there are kind of caveats to that. And I do recommend checking out the video. It's a 15-minute video, but it is well worth having a look at. Depending on your playstyle, you may not necessarily need 7 resilience. You could rock about 3. And, Castle goes into a lot of details with that. So check it out. Fallout Plays this week has put his Unwritten Rules of Trials of Osiris video out. Very funny.
Was it good?
Lots of
I didn't get a
community
chance to
feedback.
watch it. All right, I'm
It
gonna
was
go
a
watch
good
it.
one. I mean, agree with most of them. You don't bag it first, basically. You bag the person when you've got the win over them if they've bagged you first. I like that one.
And don't bag if like, and the
Just don't
thing
bag
that
at all.
drives me crazy is if you 3v1 somebody and the 3 of you killed the one, that doesn't deserve a bag.
Oh God, I know, right?
No.
You didn't do anything special. You jumped some guy. Congratulations, you have no skill.
Or if it's 2 players on the opposite team and they stayed in the match to give you a fight rather than kind of just jumping off the map, or they haven't just thrown in the towel, don't teabag them. That's not good sportsmanship.
And for Micah, the guy that used to be in our clan that's playing again, the guy that got the Vex second run, we were playing trials, and this one guy was left to his own devices because his 2 teammates left him. Right, me and Nosy were going up. We were gonna like dance with him or whatever, But every time we started to dance or we started to hang out with him, here comes freaking Titan, freaking crayon eating, freaking Micah to one-shot the guy or knock him off a cliff or something like that. It's like, dude.
Oh, well, one of the Fallout rules is that, yes, you can dance with the opponents if they're kind of down like that, but there is a slight twist to that rule of either that person has to jump off the map and kill themselves, or you are allowed to kill them after the dancing and the greetings and things like that, because you just want the round to be over. You don't want to just like dance for a minute and a half each round.
I mean,
So Micah was kind of
or you could
sort of right.
But he wasn't even dancing. Micah would just, as soon as he saw him, kill
He'd be
him.
the one that came in and did the kill.
There was no greeting. There was no dancing. There was no nothing. Just
Micah,
death.
you're bad. Don't do that.
Yes, Micah,
Dance
you're
first,
a bad person. At
cuddle the
least
other
say
guardian,
hello.
and then yeah, be nice first. If you want to know how to become the Terminator in Destiny with the Turret, Errol has got a cool video for you for that. Walking Turret, that's what he's called it. I'm not going to tell you anymore. I think you need to go and check
Terminator.
it out.
Yeah.
PvE stuff, but it's pretty cool. Where is it? Oh, this was a really good one that Cheese Forever has put out this week. Did you know you can collect 7 previous seasons worth of pass loot? Now, this is to do with downloading a I can't remember the name of it. Stuff for Android. What's it called? A pack?
An APK?
An APK, that's what it is. You can download this APK to your laptop and access like up to 7 previous seasons worth of loot if you left it on there and you didn't manage to get it off before the time ran out. So at the moment we can only access last season's via the Bungie app, but this APK has a way of accessing the previous ones if you did forget to go back and have a look. I mean, it may be worth having a quick check because there may be stuff on there that you did completely forget about. But Cheese has a cool video kind of going over what you need to do and how to do that. So if you want to have a look, or even if you know you left stuff on previous seasons that you can now access, have a look at the video. As I said,
dude. Regulus Chasm
as I said, what?
Hmm?
Oh, you're doing that. As I said, there is still a glitch with Telesto and the Titan Ballistic Slam in PvP and Gambit. It's not game breaking according to Cheese, but it is if an enemy shoots Telesto bolts on the ground, you can ballistic slam, and the game will think that they are enemies still because they've been shot by your enemy. So that's why it's not so game breaking as much, because you can't really get too much of a cluster of Telesto bolts from one person. And if you're ballistic slamming just the bolts, you're prone to being killed and things like that. But you do get super energy from the ballistic slam. So you could potentially, if there's a team of Telesto wielders, just keep ballistic slamming those Telesto bolts and build up your super really quickly. Gambit, again, situational, depends on the invaders, I think. So it has to be an enemy's Telesto bolts. He also has a video on Champion Fountains, which is 10 elemental wells plus heavy and special ammo on each champion finish build. So if you want to have a look at that, check that out. And then I mentioned at the beginning of the show the Trials Easy Wins video from Crazy Mr. Pips, which is a Warlock build with the boots. I can't remember the name of the boots.
With the fur.
Yeah, the boots with the fur. Or not so much fur.
Yeah, the ones we mentioned.
The ones we mentioned, which are called, if my things, Boots of the Assembler. That's the one that work really well with the Lumina hand cannon. Check that out. That looks really cool. Maybe worth, trying it out this week in Iron Banner and then maybe taking it into Trials the following week. And then TDT has another one of his videos where he tries out stupid kind of Destiny builds from his community. Some of them are good, some of them are bad. But the first one, the Kitchen Gunner, or the Kitchen Gun, is pretty cool. I kind of have a look at those because some of those are insane builds that his community make him do, like wearing all green armor, going into Iron Banner at 1100 power, and some of them are actually good suggestions of what build you might want to try. And then finally, the anti-meta video from Ascendant Nomad, and here's how to win with any weapon in Destiny 2. And again, there is a screenshot that he asks you to take at the beginning of what kind of, how he's broken down which guns fit into kind of what ranges and how you might want to play against those. So go and check that out. I recommend them for this week. So yeah, have you guys got anything you'd like to recommend, or apart from your podcast, of course,
No.
Kingsley, because we could always recommend that.
Yes, that. That's
The
a given.
Destiny 2 Winning Raid podcast.
The best rating podcast on the net.
Yeah, that one.
Mm-hmm.
So where can people listen to you?
Yes, well, you can find our show either on Twitter as The Guardian Hub, or you can go to our lovely website, theguardianhub.com, the best hub on the net.
Anyway, so what 3 damn things do I turn in to get a man at a holiday to get me legendary?
Jeez, that again.
Because it's not. Well, I'm trying to figure it out, dude. I am broke. All right,
Watch
I have
the
100
video.
shots. I asked you to
Look at the
post the
video.
video. You didn't post the video.
Oh Jesus! I'll post you the video. Hang on a second.
I need this. I'm broke.
You really that broke?
I have 100 charts.
Share. Copy link.
And while he's figuring that out, you can also, if you want to follow me, obviously my name is KingsleyMac, and I'm on all the places as KingsleyMac, except for on Twitter, I am MC Kingsley, because someone took KingsleyMac.
MC Kingsley up in his house.
But people were always calling me McKingsley, so I changed to KingsleyMac.
So do they get in contact with you for like raid Sherpas and things like that if they want to have
Sure.
a good time with raid nights?
I mean,
you
after you've joined Two Titans and a Hunter Discord, consider joining other Discords. There's a lot of great Discords out there for the community. We all kind of build each other up and support each other with raids and things like that.
Well, if you stick the link of your Discord in the thing, and I'll post that. People, if they want to quickly get to you, they can beg you and Sin and Des to take them to heights that they've never known before.
Well, is that it? Because with that, I do need to start heading on out.
There is. That's it. And guess what?
Wow,
We need to
you
do
guys
a
are
closer.
amazing.
Did you record a closer?
I've got a closer.
Yo, let's get it.
Yes, I have the ending down for this.
Let's
So
hear it.
thank you for joining us. I am your lone titan this week, Nitedemon. Your lore reading hunter is Mr. No One Respawns in Real Life. Our lore god of knowledge and guidance in reading said lore is the all-knowing Not Arth. And your guest parody of the week has been the amazing KingsleyMac from the Guardian Hub podcast. You can email the show at twotitansandahunter@hotmail.com. We're on Twitter at twotitans_hunter. You can find us on Facebook at Two Titans and a Hunter. Find your favourite Guardians on bungie.net/friends. I think that's how you can find any one of us now. Just click to be our friend. So
Yeah.
What is that about?
he's got his account locked down. That's what that means.
Probably.
Yeah. You can watch my Mountain of Iron banner footage for the show on YouTube, or you can check out the raw, uncut live version of the show on Twitch. Respawn, where do we find you?
No One Respawns in Real Life, all spelled out on twitch.tv/TV something.
Yes, and we generally record at 10 a.m. Eastern on a Saturday morning. So if you want to pop in and say hello, call Respawn some names, tell us that we can't read, then yeah, do that. You can also listen to the show on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Spotify, and everywhere fine podcasts are sold. I'm at the end now, just don't disturb me.
Yeah.
I will leave you wondering if we have really replaced the parody or not. Tune in next week to find out. Say goodbye, Guardians.
Deuces.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Say my name, say my name. I don't know how the rest of the song goes, because I don't listen to that genre. Executor Hideo of New Monarchy. Boom! Nailed it! Sorry. Walked alongside Lakshmi too. Nailed it! Future work called.